I can start to see some of the ways that this team has lost ball games. I can see it. We've got to correct it, obviously.
What's not working overall now?
What the hell do you think isn't working? You see the damn game.
Okay, now that we're all awake, it's time for baseball here on Comcast Sportsnet. Game 2 of the series between the Cubs and Reds out at Gray Wrigley Field. It's a 12:05 start time with Rich Hill facing Cincinnati All-Star right-hander Bronson Arroyo. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to an early edition of Verizon Wireless Cubs pregame live. You know, my partner Dan Plesac spent 18 years in the big leagues, sleeping until noon, watching soap operas in his hotel room. This is an early call for you, isn't it?
Now, wait a second here. I don't know.
Don't tell me you got a plan to work out.
Sleep until noon, maybe, but soap operas, no.
No, I know the life of a big leaguer. You guys never got up early, right?
I was in a golf course early in the morning on the road.
Right. Well, that's fair.
So
that's
none
fair.
of that noon stuff on the road. At home, that's a different story.
Now, we wanted to get the viewers' attention by showing Lou Piniella's post-game comments yesterday. What do you make of that? 9 games in, you know, he's not going to worry about the media. He wants his players to wake up.
I think it's kind of a little jump start. It was very unfortunate yesterday with having Aramis Ramirez out and Mark DeRosa down due to a stiff back. You know, Ryan Theriot at third base, Ronnie Cedeno at second base, kind of like the second-string team in the middle part of that infield yesterday. But it really was disappointing. You stake Carlos Zambrano to a 5-0 lead, and as you're sitting and watching it, you really felt like, boy, this guy was in complete control of this game. Unfortunately, it was an inning where he wasn't able to stop the bleeding. Cincinnati, then, you know, the Cubs went to the bullpen. Will Ullman walked in a couple of runs. And I think you're seeing a lot of frustration. This is a good baseball team.
Right.
They're not playing good right now. But 9 games doesn't make a season. And just as quickly as you get in one of these funks, you can turn yourself right out of one. And hopefully, Rich Hill will be the guy to get him up off that.
And I know a lot of Cub fans are happy to see the manager showing some fire because this is a team that's built to win. You don't want to see him get off to a bad start, particularly in a division that's very winnable like the NL Central is this season. Well, let's see if a good night's sleep helped Lou Piniella out. Hopefully he's in a better mood this morning. He met with that same local media group out at Wrigley Field before the game, talking about some of the reasons behind the Cubs' 3-6 start.
From a pitching standpoint, all spring, we didn't walk many hitters, and it really showed in our performance, pitching-wise. And all of a sudden, that's been creeping up. And from a hitting standpoint, conversely, we walk quite a bit in the spring, and we're not walking too much here. So that's an area in itself that we can try to improve on.
Well, Lou was clean-shaven yesterday, going back to the whiskers today. Maybe that'll bring good luck to the Cubs. We're going to head out to Wrigley Field now, bring in our Cubs reporter, Gail Fisher. Gail, what do you make of Sweet Lou's show of frustration yesterday?
Well, I think he was a little annoyed by a certain member of the media's questioning, so that helped spark that tirade a little bit, and I think he is frustrated. I mean, you see a game that is clearly in hand slip away in about 15 minutes of time. I mean, it wasn't like throughout the course of the game or things got worse over an hour. We're talking about 15 minutes. It all went by the wayside, so you can understand his frustration a little bit, and it is way too early in the season to have to deal with these kind of injuries. 2 of your best players out with injury. They are out again today, so Aramis Ramirez and Mark DeRosa will be sitting this one out. Ryan Theriot and Ronnie Cedeno back in that lineup, so the same lineup as yesterday, which really isn't all that bad. They played a lot of nice small ball in the first 4 innings of that game anyway. So I was able to talk to DeRosa and Ramirez a little bit today about their injuries. Now, DeRosa did come in the game yesterday in the 8th inning. He struck out, but you could tell his swing looked like he was really in a lot of pain, and he certainly was. I asked him about just trying to gut it out yesterday.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, right before I came up to hit, I was in here getting treatment and trying to get a few swings off the tee and just be able to basically, you know, grin and bear it out there for an inning. It was nice when it was 5-0. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be needed today and can rest and hopefully tomorrow, because with Aramis out, it really puts a strain on our bench and on everybody.
It's been sore for the last month and a half, but I was playing like that, you know, because I was able to play.
Yeah.
And but I don't know, for no reason, yesterday I woke up and it was swollen. And now coming in the morning, and it wasn't looking good at all. So that's why, you know, I didn't play, and I went back to the hospital, and they say I have tendonitis. And
Okay, so that is the good news. So
that is the good news, actually, because I was worried because it was pretty swollen in the morning, and it was pretty sore. So, you know, just to get tendonitis, it's a good news.
So Aramis Ramirez with tendonitis in his wrist. He's not quite sure how it happened after having 2 days off. He just woke up with a sore wrist, but again, he said it's been sore since spring training. Mark DeRosa, just to clarify, has a bad back. He said he was lifting weights on that snow out day, and his back just locked up on him. He said it's never happened to him before. So hopefully for both of these guys, they just need another day or two, and they can then get back into this lineup. Should be an interesting matchup between Rich Hill and Bronson Arroyo. Rich Hill, about the only player I've heard say he's looking forward to pitching in the cold. So he pitched in the Dome up in Milwaukee, his first start of the season, and I guess he likes this cold weather, so we'll see how he does. And one more stat just for Dan Plesac's case. The Cubs are 1-5 against the Reds, but ironically, they are out hitting the Reds. The Reds are just batting .217 against the Cubs this season. The Cubs, meanwhile, hitting .242. They just can't seem to score, though. That's going to do it from Wrigley Field. I'm Gail Fisher. Mark, Dan, let's send it back to you.
Well, Gail, Dan appreciates the extra numbers. You know, he's a big stats guy.
Right.
And make sure you word those questions very carefully when you talk to Lou after the game, all right?
Absolutely, man. I don't want to get my head chewed off, that's for sure.
All right, Gail, thanks a lot. Gail Fisher live at Wrigley Field. So all the attention now all around the country is about Lou Piniella's post-game comments, but let's take a look back at what actually happened on the field. You can understand his frustration because you have your ace on the mound. He'd only given up 1 hit through the first 4 innings, and then all of a sudden he can't get anybody out.
Well, it was really frustrating because the Cubs did a lot of things leading up to that really awful 5th inning, and Carlos Zambrano, Lou Piniella touched on it. This was really a crucial walk. 1st and 2nd and nobody out. He walks Brandon Phillips. Now you get into the meat part of the order. Not a bad pitch right here to Josh Hamilton, able to just hit a ball through the right side of the infield, and then the wheels start to come off. And really the hit that really hurt was the Ken Griffey, the double down the right field line was really a good pitch. But I think when you start to see, you have an inning like this, a prolonged inning where you throw a lot of pitches. Here's the pitch, a really good split finger. But it just seems like when the wheels come off and bad things starts happening, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he was erratic around the strike zone, and Lou touched on it in the pregame. They're starting to walk more hitters, and Carlos is never going to be a Greg Maddux type pitcher where he's going to throw 70 pitches in 7 innings. He's going to be a high pitch total kind of guy. He's a power pitcher, relies on movement on his fastball, but and we've touched on this, one of the bugaboos that he needs to really tighten up is he has a lot of innings where he'll get the first 2 out and in 4 or 5 pitches, and then before you know it, it's a 6, 7, 8 pitch at bat, and it leads to a 12, 13 pitch inning. And if he can just shorten that up, it will make him stronger in the middle to the later part of the game, and also it'll save the wear and tear on his arm as you get into June, July, and August.
Now, late in your career, you were a left-handed specialist. You just faced 1 or 2 hitters, so you know the situation that Will Oman was brought into. And after the game, Lou Piniella really singled him out, saying I had a guy throwing 30 and 40-foot curveballs. Will Oman's a loosey-goosey guy. I don't think he's going to be affected too much by Piniella's criticism, or will he?
Well, I think what you're seeing right now, it's a different regime here. The Lou Piniella era, it's a little bit more stressful. It's a little bit more tense. It's a different managing style, and I think there are some players, and Will Oman may fit the bill of the guys that I won't say that are a little bit intimidated, but Lou doesn't seem to me like he's very much like a guy I played for in Philadelphia and Larry Boa. If you want to be coddled and you want to be fondled, this isn't the place. You know, he doesn't really going to tolerate that. And I think what Lou wants to see is guys that he can put out there in the heat of the battle in a tough situation, because when you're pitching in the bullpen, it's not always going to be with a 3-run lead and 2 outs, go ahead and get an out. They're going to be, he wants to find out who are the guys he can bring in trouble, who are the troubleshooters, who can he bring in with men on base, who can he depend on. And it's one of the biggest things between a manager and his pitching staff is trust. If you trust that a guy's going to come in and throw strikes, and it's so frustrating from a manager standpoint, you'd almost rather have a guy go out and get hit throwing the ball over the plate than ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, strike 1, strike 2, ball 4, because you're always on the top step. Should I go get him? Is he going to find the strike zone? And I think what you saw not only was a quick hook, but this team is not playing that well. This is a good team that is playing very badly right now, but I don't think that 9 games makes a season. Hopefully 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks from now, we can look back at this and say, boy, they recovered from an awful start. They haven't buried themselves. Nobody's going to run away in this division, but they do need to start playing better.
And on the positive side, after Ullman went on the ball game, the Cubs got 5 hitless innings from their bullpen. Michael Wirtz came on, struck out the side in the 5th inning, got out of a huge jam. And then Scott Air, who struggled a little bit in his first couple outings, struck out the side in the 9th inning. So obviously the Cubs need a win today to ease some of the frustration out at Wrigley Field. And they've got one of their best pitchers going. Let's take a look at the matchup presented by IPA. Left-hander Rich Hill facing Cincinnati's Bronson Arroyo. Arroyo was the Reds' lone all-star a year ago. He won 14 games with a 3.29 earned run average. The Cubs did beat him in Cincinnati last week. Rich Hill picked up where he left off at the end of last season, pitching 7 innings of one-hit ball in Milwaukee last Friday. And, Dan, the Cubs have to feel pretty confident with Hill on the mound. It seems like he's figured this big league thing out now.
He really has. And really, the last month of the season last year, he made tremendous strides. And I think what you're seeing right now is a young pitcher that's really starting to believe in himself. He's able to see reactions from swings. He's able to use his fastball. And it's so important to believe in the stuff that you have. He doesn't throw 97 miles an hour. He's in the low 90s. He'll touch 92, 93 at times. But you can see that he's trusting his fastball. And if he's pitching ahead in the strike zone, pitching ahead in the count, it gives him a chance to use that big 12-6 curveball, his strikeout pitch. And one of the things that you have to really like about him is he uses his fastball, and he's able to elevate that fastball with 2 strikes around belt high to letter high. A very inviting pitch. Hitters love to take a pass at that, but it's a hard ball to center, and it's a lot of swings and misses and a lot of pop-ups. It looks like he's really figured out how to use his repertoire right now.
And speaking of pitchers where the light suddenly turns on, Bronson Arroyo, a guy in Boston who didn't do all that much, he comes to Cincinnati. He was among the leaders in all the pitching categories in the National League last season.
Well, I think what you see, he is a prototypical American League type pitcher. He's a sinker ball pitcher, moves his fastball in, but he throws a variety of different breaking balls from a variety of arm angles. And one of the things he does very well is he throws both sides of the plate very well. To right-handers, he moves that slider off the plate, and if he gets you to chase it, he'll move the ball a little bit further off and off, and he throws just enough fastballs on the inner half of the plate to keep you, from, as a right-handed hitter, from leaning out there and going out and getting a little bit too comfortable.
And don't ask the former Cub Glendon Rush about Bronson Arroyo. He had 2 homers off him last year.
Yes, he did. You know what?
We don't want to see
that today. Let's let that sleeping dog lie.
We'll let that go. We're just getting started here on Verizon Wireless Cubs pregame live. Up next, we'll take a closer look at the lineups for both teams. The Cubs have posted a winning record in April each of the last 4 seasons, despite all that cold weather. There's Michael Barrett getting ready. Another chilly day at the ballpark, but you know the fans will be ready. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I was talking to my buddy from the suburbs about all the things that need to be done this time of year. Fertilizing, spraying, trimming, mulching, mowing. He says he has people who do all that. I said same here. Me, myself, and I.
Time to spring into savings at Tractor Supply. Through April 22nd, get a $300 gift card when you buy our 23-horsepower Husky Supreme or a $150 card with this 20-horsepower Husky. The stuff you need out here is in here. Tractor Supply.
Do you know your credit score? Do you know what's in your credit report? You can find out for free right now at freecreditreport.com.
Knowing my credit score helped me save money on my home loan.
Now we can monitor all 3 of our national credit reports every day.
It helps us save money and check for potential identity theft.
Just a few clicks, and I get my credit report and credit score free.
Log on now to freecreditreport.com.
Offer applies with the Roman Triple Advantage.
Hi, I'm Jim Tomey. Want to know what makes a winning team? A great lineup, outstanding performance, and numbers nobody can beat.
Expect the best, get the best.
At Schaumburg Dodge.
For the first time ever, Schaumburg Dodge is offering 0% financing for 72 months on their most popular 2006 vehicles, like Dodge Caravan, Ram trucks, and Durango.
Savings, service, and selection go with the fan favorite at Schaumburg Dodge.
Your #1 team for your next car, truck, or SUV.
On Gulf Road.
Not all the energy for our fuel comes from oil in the ground. A lot of it comes from our people, who year in and year out put so much of their energy into everything they do. So you can be sure that when you put Valero gas into your tank, you're going to get a lot out of it. Valero, the energy to take you anywhere.
ここにチタンウルトラボット5000がございます。
ジミー・ジョーンズ、ジミー・ジョーンズ。
ジミー・ジョーンズ、早く来てくれ。最高だ。ジミー・ジョーンズ、これ早い。
ジミー・ジョーンズ、the world's greatest sandwich delivery.
The Cubs had 13 hits in the series opener, but couldn't score after the fourth inning. There's Alfonso Soriano loosening up, still looking for his first homer in a Cubs uniform. Hopefully that will come this afternoon. Welcome back to Verizon Wireless Cubs pregame live. Mark Shanowski and the quirky left-hander Dan Plesac with you this morning. Quirky, is that all right?
Quirky, early in the morning, quirky?
What better time to be quirky than early in the morning? We're going to take a look at the Cubs lineup. It's exactly the same as yesterday. Of course, Lou doesn't have a whole lot of flexibility because of those injuries to Ramirez and Mark DeRosa. Ryan Theriot, though, the Riot, had 3 hits yesterday, filling in for Aram. Cliff Floyd starting to settle in, playing for his hometown team. He had 2 more hits yesterday, improving his batting average to .333. And Dan, it's been kind of interesting. I know we expected a platoon situation out in left field, but especially with Aram out, they need Cliff Floyd's bat.
Well, they need Cliff Floyd, and I think you're going to see Cliff playing a little bit more against right-handed starting pitching, particularly a tough right-handed starter pitcher. Bronson Arroyo offers a variety of different breaking balls. It's really an uncomfortable at bat for a right-hander, particularly if you're not getting to play much every day. And right now, Matt Merton and Cliff are kind of the 2 interchangeable parts in left field. But I think they're looking to get a little bit of thump and then get a little left-handed power into that lineup.
Well, so far, Matt Merton's been spending a lot of time on the bench. Lou Piniella pointed out they've only seen 1 left-handed starter in the first 9 games. And he talked about this before the game. He said he's kind of upset that he's had to leave Matt on the bench so often.
One thing that I pride myself in is being fair and playing everybody. It hurts me. It really does. I told Matt yesterday just to be a little patient with me. And I told him I appreciated it. I like the kid.
Well, he likes the kid. He also likes Ryan Theriot. He talked about him after the game. He played third base, had a tough chance, made a good play for a force out. He is a guy that can do some things at the top lineup because he has speed and he'll put the ball in play.
I mean, he's a very valuable part of this team. We touched on him a little bit yesterday. I don't think he's the kind of guy that you can carry on your shoulder. He's not going to carry a team, but he can do a lot of things. He brings some speed. He can play multiple positions in the outfield. He's played a little bit of left field, played a little bit of right field. He can play a lot of different places. He's a very valuable player, particularly on a National League team where you're going to ask your bench players to do a lot more. He's a good number 2-hole hitter. He'll take some pitches. He's good at hitting behind runners. He can get bunts down if needed. Listen, the problem yesterday, they scored enough runs. When you score 5 runs, I don't care about the lineup. And you look at that lineup today. This lineup is good enough to win this game today. And when they get 5 runs like they did yesterday, you can go back and dissect and say, well, they didn't get a hit or they didn't get a run after the 6th inning. The bottom line is this. You score 5 runs and you have a 5-0 lead. That should be enough to win. Your pitchers need to take over. Carlos Zambrano, Will Ullman weren't able to shut it down yesterday, but the bottom line was that lineup yesterday and that lineup today is good enough for this team to win.
And speaking of lineups, let's take a look at what Jerry Narron has going for Cincinnati today. With a left-handed starter going for the Cubs, more right-handed guys in the lineup for Cincinnati, starting right at the top with the always energetic Ryan Friel. Adam Dunn is in there. Too bad he's in the 3-hole, with Ken Griffey moving down to the 5 spot and David Ross doing the catching. I know you like Ryan Friel.
Oh, Ryan Friel. He's almost kind of the Cubs version of Ryan Theriot. He can do a lot of things, can play a lot of places around the infield, a very good center fielder. He has tremendous speed. And I tell you what, he brings a lot to the table. He kind of sets the table for this 2-3-4 part in the Cincinnati Red Order. So it's very important to try to keep him off the bases. Then you hopefully, when you're facing guys like Dunn and Griffey and Conine, that he's not on base, because he makes pitchers think about him stealing bases, gives guys like Dunn, Griffey, and Conine more fastballs to hit.
And hopefully Rich Hill throws his good breaking ball to those dangerous power guys like Dunn and Griffey. We're going to go back out to the ballpark, bring in the guys who will call the game today here on Comcast Sportsnet. Len Casper and Bob Brenly help us preview Game 2 of this series. Guys?
Thanks, Mark and Dan. It has cooled off considerably. The wind coming in off the lake pretty hard today. Might be a pitcher's day, and you never know what you're going to get here at Wrigley Field. We saw a bizarre one yesterday.
As bizarre a ball game, I think, as I've seen in a number of years here at Wrigley. You just have to scratch your head. You spot Carlos Zambrano, your horse, your ace, to a 5-run lead, and it wasn't enough.
The Cubs did get those runs early, and Lou's going to go same lineup 1 through 8 today.
And I would expect that Lou's going to try to do the same thing he did yesterday with the smaller lineup with Terrio and Cedeno in there. And we saw those guys being very aggressive on the bases. They stole some bases, got into scoring position, and I would expect more of the same today.
Pretty good pitching matchup. Rich Hill, it's been a while for him, just over a week, but the layoff did not hurt him in his first start.
First time around, it didn't bother him whatsoever. He threw his regular side session, so he should be good to go. And hopefully he'll be as good as he was his first time out, because Rich had all of his pitches working, including a very improved straight changeup.
All right, the Cubs look for their first home win. They've lost 4 in a row overall. We'll have all the action at the top of the hour. Now back to you, Mark.
All right, Len and Bob, thanks a lot. We look forward to your call in just a few minutes. And coming up after a final break, we'll get Dan's ever-popular keys to the game. They got to work one of these days. You know the left-handed guys stick together, so Rich Hill has got to be involved in the keys. We'll let you talk after the break. We don't expect a lot of home runs today, although Lou Piniella and his coaches would love to see some of them. Big Z reached the seats yesterday. Who knows what might happen? More Cubs pregame live straight ahead.
Time now for the Just for Men stay in the game moment. Bottom of the second inning, 2 outs for Ryan Terrio, getting to start at third base for the injured Aramis Ramirez. And Terrio belts the first of his 2 RBI singles in the game. Stay in the game with Just for Men hair color.
One day you find it's not business as usual. Your hair is gray, and you wonder, will people still see me as a valuable player? Is my career going down? How do you stop that?
Just for Men stops gray from hiding who you are. Easy, with 5-minute Target Gray technology.
Now doors are opening, and you wonder, why did I ever put up with gray hair?
Let the real you come through. Stay in the game with Just for Men.
The pressure will mount.
Yeah! Listen to this crowd now!
The intensity will rise because the playoffs are coming.
Oh, yeah!
Every second counts.
Bulls win!
Every shot matters as the Bulls' quest for a championship tips off.
It's getting hyped in here now, baby.
It all begins next weekend on the exclusive local home of the Bulls playoffs. Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
If you're ever pulled over by the police, showing your driver's license isn't enough. You must also show proof of financial responsibility. It's the law. Can you take that risk? Now, with new lower down payments in Illinois, Safe Auto can protect your privilege to drive with minimum liability coverage. Call now, 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Protect your privilege.
Honda presents Spring into Action 3, starring Honda's on- and off-road bikes, personal watercraft, and ATVs, featuring up to $1,500 in bonus bucks and payments as low as $39 a month upon approved credit. Honda presents Spring into Action 3 sales event. The world may never be the same, ever.
Hawkeye Motor works, so you can play right on.
So, you're a green person, but which shade? Confusing, isn't it? Well, True Value's Color Made Simple can help. With exclusive tools, trained professionals, and expert advice, finding your color will always be simple. Now let's talk purple. True Value's Color Made Simple.
Meeting the challenge since 1940.
The Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet.
Cub fans will have to get used to these 12:05 starts on Saturday afternoons. The network broadcast window is now later on Saturdays, so the Cubs will have 8 of these early 12:05 games at Wrigley Field this year. You know that? So a lot of early calls.
Glad I'm done playing. That's 12 at noon. That's an extra hour. That cuts into my sleep time.
Time now for our Lexus keys to the game. I don't know if the early start is involved, but we know Rich Hill is.
Rich Hill is definitely involved in the keys to the game. I think one of the things Rich has made tremendous strides the last month of the season. He's really made himself very much a prominent part of the starting rotation. Continued to throw strikes. No walks in spring training. Didn't walk anybody in his first start. If he's around the plate using his fastball, if he's throwing well, you'll be able to tell. Down in the strike zone early, elevated four-seam fastball. If he gets ahead, use that big 12-6 curveball. And then I think the Cubs did a very good job the last time they faced Bronson Arroyo, who really had the Cubs number last season. He's going to throw a lot of breaking pitches from a lot of different arm angles. Right-handed hitters are going to get a lot of pitches on the outer third of the plate. The Cubs did a much better job taking the ball the other way with the theory of hitting the ball up the middle to the right side, and you can just kind of small ball him to death, make him feel like if you hit a couple of balls hard to the right side, and he'll start to bring that fastball in, you may get some pitches to turn on.
Derek Lee will bat in the cleanup spot today. He had 2 hits yesterday, drove in a run early. What does he have to do to be successful against Arroyo?
Well, Bronson Arroyo is very tough on right-handers because he has a variety of breaking balls. And one of the things he does very well, he changes speeds with his breaking ball. He'll throw a hard, crisp slider on the outer third of the plate, and then he'll come in and he'll change speeds and throw one a little bit slower and bait you a little bit off the plate, kind of like Greg Maddux does with his fastball. If he gets a called strike on a corner, he'll try to move the ball out a little further and further. And if you continue to chase and swing at it, he's just going to continue to move the ball off the plate. Very important to try to be patient, but he does throw a lot of strikes. You're just going to get a lot of breaking pitches.
Cliff Floyd has a .444 lifetime batting average against Bronson Arroyo, so he could have some success today. Aramis Ramirez was hitting .350 against Arroyo, but unfortunately he will be out because of the wrist injury. Kind of interesting, he got hurt back in spring training. He's tried to play through it. He's played extremely well.
Well, you know what he really has, and really Aramis Ramirez, this is the best I've seen him look ever in a Cub uniform. All the spring training looked like a different player. I mean, hustling, running, playing really good defense. And one of the things that really impressed me, and he carried it onto the season, is what you'll see right here. Taking the ball on the outside corner and driving the ball to right center field, using the whole ballpark, and the home runs will come. Hopefully this wrist thing is just a temporary setback because he is a big, big part of the Cubs' plans offensively.
And Soriano, they need him to get on base from the leadoff spot.
They need him to get on base and start driving in some runs, which I'm sure will happen. And it's not unusual. I think when you come to a new ballpark, a new team, you're trying a little bit extra, and I think he just needs to relax. Maybe that first home run, get a couple of games back-to-back where he's starting to center the ball, hit the ball very well, and I think you're going to see him take off.
Hopefully a big performance by Rich Hill and a victory for the Cubs because we know they need it in the worst way. That's all the time we have for now. For Dan and the entire crew, thanks for watching Verizon Wireless Cubs pregame live in this early 11:30 start for us. Don't forget to stay tuned after the final out because, of course, we'll carry Lou Pinella's news conference on Cubs postgame live. And as you found out, you never know what Lou might say. Enjoy the game here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Cubs pregame live is presented to you by Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
You guys ready?
For the glorious future of entertainment.
Ooh, you can get it now.
Right here on what looks to be one of the finest machines that I've ever seen up close and personal.
You like it? I can't wait. This is going to be so awesome.
This is VCast Mobile TV. Channel surf instantly and see your favorite channels in digital quality. Real TV, now on your phone. Exclusively from Verizon Wireless.
Hey, Chicagoland, looking for a career change? International Profit Associates is the nation's leader in management consulting for small and medium-sized companies. IPA had another winning year and is now hiring appointment centers and inside sales representatives. IPA employees are building careers. The 600 employees at the Northwest Suburban office love working at IPA because of unlimited income potential. Create your own promotion. Call IPA at 800-531-2542, weekdays between 7 and 5. Tell them you're looking for a change.
Hi, I'm Jim Thome. Want to know what makes a winning team? A great lineup, outstanding performance, and numbers nobody can beat.
Expect the best, get the best.
At Schaumburg Dodge.
For the first time ever, Schaumburg Dodge is offering 0% financing for 72 months on their most popular 2006 vehicles like Dodge Caravan, Ram trucks, and Durango.
Savings, service, and selection go with the fan favorite at Schaumburg Dodge.
Your #1 team for your next car, truck, or SUV.
On Gulf Road.
Get a suit that fits. Men's Warehouse has a wide selection of great-looking suits to fit you and your budget, starting at only $200. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
If ever you're not satisfied with one of our tires, please feel free to bring it back. Thank you. Discount Tire Company.
Low prices, more choices on the world's best brands like Michelin and BF Goodrich.
McDonald's Sports Rise every morning on Comcast Sportsnet. Man's best brand.
Well, no snow at the moment, but it is very cold on the north side. And after a defeat, the Cubs would just as soon forget today is a new day. As they look to snap a 4-game losing streak, the Cubs hosting the Cincinnati Reds from Wrigley Field here on Comcast Sportsnet. And welcome to Cubs baseball today. Bob Brenly and Len Casper. It just feels like a day in which the Cubs are going to get a win. We've been saying that here throughout the week, and hopefully it happens today. And you don't want to see losing streaks ever, but particularly in April.
Yeah, still looking for that first home win, and obviously the weather has a lot to do with it. Both teams play under the same condition, but the Cubs have had a little more problems adjusting, especially offensively. This was a team that was built to slug, and you see the one home run that's been hit in the 4-game losing streak came by yesterday's starter, Carlos Zambrano.
Rich Hill will get just his second start of the year. It seems like he's been sitting around quite a bit, but when he has pitched once, he was really good.
He was probably the best we've seen so far out of the rotation. His last start against the Brewers, he had it all going. The big curveball that drops from the heavens, spotted his fastball on both sides of the plate real well, and even added another little wrinkle. Drops down, throws a breaking ball to Prince Fielder to get a strikeout right there.
So it'll be Rich Hill against right-hander Bronson Arroyo, and the Cubs actually beat him the last time they saw him.
Yeah, Arroyo is not nearly the same pitcher during day games as he is during night games, and obviously a 12:05 start today, so hopefully the Cubs will be able to break through.
That's because he's a rock and roll guy, of course. So Rich Hill today with just his second start of the year. 8 full days after winning his season debut. He'll try to get the Cubs in the win column when we come back.
Have you noticed how many car ads want you to hurry in? Hurry in, don't wait. They want you to hurry because they don't want you finding out what the best car really is. This is the Toyota Camry, the 2007 Motor Trend Car of the Year. So, you know, it's the best car.
And now, lease the famously popular Toyota Camry for just $229 a month. Toyota, a great way to keep moving forward.
QC Auto Service Centers, serving the Quad City area for over 30 years.
Hi, this is Dan Elias for QC Auto Service Centers. Let's talk brakes. Do you have to stomp on your brakes to stop?
Ensure your family's safety by driving into any one of our 3 QC Auto Service Centers. Our techs will inspect your vehicle's brakes free. We'll install lifetime guaranteed original equipment, brake pads, and shoes.
QC Auto Centers with 3 convenient locations: Bettendorf, Davenport, and Moline, keeping you on the road.
Update your kitchen after a stop at Menards. Franke granite kitchen sinks are on sale. Featuring this elegant double bowl sink in polar white or champagne. Your choice, only $177. Delta kitchen faucets are on sale. They install as easy as 1, 2, 3. Choose from this single-handle chrome model with sprayer for only $69. Or this chrome single-handle pull-out faucet with soap dispenser for only $119.
Save big money at Menards.
On Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Chevy. Log on now to ChevyDriveChicago.com. Check us out today at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. Your local area Lexus dealer who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Rico, how well do you print, copy, scan, fax? How well do you share? Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, shining through. Cadillac, Life, Liberty, and The Pursuit. And by Southwest Airlines. With more flights to more places than ever before, Southwest is taking low fares farther. Visit Southwest.com.
Wind blowing straight in from right. A very stiff breeze. And it's pretty cold today, but we are set for the Cubs hosting the Cincinnati Reds. And let's check out the Red Southwest starting lineup. Reds come in first place in the division, 6-4. They're a half game up on Milwaukee and St. Louis. Friel, Phillips, Dunn at the top. Jeff Conine to start at first against the lefty. Griffey's in right, Encarnacion at third, Juan Castro at short, and the battery is Ross and Arroyo.
And let's take a look at the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. Floyd Soriano Jones once again across the outfield against a right-handed starter for the Reds. Ryan Theriot getting another start at third base in place of the injured Aramis Ramirez. His tourist at shortstop, Ronnie Cedeno, filling in at second base for Mark DeRosa. Derek Lee over at first base. Michael Barrett behind the plate for the left-hander Rich Hill. Talked about Rich Hill's outing in Milwaukee, a victory, 7 innings, gave up only 1 base hit, was just outstanding, pounding the strike zone with all 3 of his pitches, was in total command of that ball game.
Now the umpire is Kerwin Danley, who was born in Los Angeles and was a college teammate of Tony Gwynn at San Diego State. He'll call the balls and strikes. And Ryan Friel will get his first start in the series. He'll lead it off for the Reds. 6-5 the final. In game 1, the Reds scored all their runs and had all but one of their hits in the 5th inning. It's going to get warmer tomorrow, partner.
You promise?
I promise.
Well, appearances can be deceiving. A little bit of sun peeking through today. It looks like a nice day here at Wrigley, but as you mentioned, that wind blowing straight in off the lake. Bitterly cold wind.
Popped up by Friel. Back of short goes his Torres. 1 pitch and 1 out.
Well, that's a good start. The Cubs having a left-handed starter on the mound. The Reds changed their lineup a little bit as well. Josh Hamilton not in there. Scott Hatteberg not in there. Javier Valentin, the strongest offensive catcher of the 3 for the Reds, not in the lineup today either.
46 degrees at game time, and the wind out of the east at 17. Very brisk. Strike 1 on Brandon Phillips, who led off for Cincinnati yesterday. No hits in 4 tries, but he did walk and scored a run. He hits a ground ball to his Torres. Cesar into the early action. Don't want to jinx Rich Hill, but no walks in spring training and no walks in his first start. So he has been a strike throwing machine.
And because of that, and certainly the Reds are aware of Rich Hill's numbers in spring training and in his first start of the season, you're seeing a lot of early hacks here. Attack him early in the count, try to get to him before he has an opportunity to throw that big over-the-top curveball.
Now he faces Adam Dunn, who's 1 for 7 against the Cubs lefty in his career. And he fouls it straight back.
What great location on that fastball to Adam Dunn. We've talked about it in past games against the Reds. If you allow the big man to extend his arms, he can really do some damage. You run that fastball right in there on his fists.
Swing and a miss. The Cubs have 2 right fielders. Jones is the deep man, and Cedeno, the short guy.
Now that's the I formation defense on the right side.
Zone coverage against Adam Dunn. That ball landed about 10 feet to our left. And a youngster in the front row right in front of us, I think, had a shot at it and it ended up down in the first level.
Actually, I think maybe Dad had a shot at it, and he's apologizing to the youngster.
I thought he was consoling.
Hey, you got to be ready to play when the game starts.
They're going to check down to third, and Darryl Cousins said no swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Dunn. Conine on deck. He's batting cleanup. Griffey hitting 5th. Rich from the third base side of the pitching rubber. Just off the corner. And he's run it full, 3-2.
Well, I'll tell you, from the arm angle of a left-handed pitcher, if that ball is caught a little bit off the outside corner, which it appears it might have been, you see Michael Barrett catches that ball. It wasn't much off the corner, but from Rich Hill's arm angle, that had to cross the plate somewhere.
Called strike 3, so he gets done looking to end the top of the first. Cubs offense goes to work when we come back to Wrigley.
Searching other websites for low fares? Better get comfortable. Fly one of Southwest Airlines' 7 daily nonstops from Chicago Midway to Long Island for just $39 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
Grubs. Their mission? Destroy your lawn. Now there's Bear Advanced Season-Long Grub Control with Merit. Its exclusive 2-in-1 formula stops grubs all season. Plus, it revitalizes your lawn, guaranteed. Bear Advanced.
We know you like style. We know you like performance. We thought you'd like fuel economy as well. With the Pontiac G6, you get the same fuel economy as Camry, with even more power. The new Pontiac, designed for action.
Now, after all available offers, the G6 sedan starts at $16,145. For more information, visit PontiacDrive.com.
Dad, when does the game start?
Game? What game?
Use what the pros use. The Cub Cadet. Available at Tractor Supply.
Good start for Rich Hill, going 1-2-3, and we'll see how the Cubs offense does against Bronson Arroyo. Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Blues pretty much keeping it the same 1 through 8. We'll have updates here in a moment on Ramirez and DeRosa, both guys out of the lineup for the second consecutive day.
Take a look at the Reds defensively. Behind Bronson Arroyo, Dunn, Friel, and Griffey Jr. across the outfield. Encarnacion, Castro, Phillips, and Conine across the infield. David Ross behind the plate today, and the right-hander Bronson Arroyo will take the mound. He's been tough on the Cubs in the past. Pretty good ERA, even though he's winless this season. He'll throw a variety of breaking balls from a variety of different arm angles. And we touched on it in the open. He's a much better pitcher at night than in the daytime.
And a fastball for a strike on Soriano as we get underway here in the bottom of the first. Swing and a miss at that curveball from Arroyo. Well, BB, I've got a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. It says, quote, "Finish every day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt have crept in. Forget them as soon as you can." I think that applies to not only the Cubs this week, but in baseball in general. When you come off a loss, particularly one like yesterday, you forget about it and you move on.
What team did Ralph Waldo play for?
It was the Cleveland Spiders, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, a very astute observation and very appropriate for the game of baseball.
I'll even add one more line. Tomorrow is a new day. Begin it well and serenely, and with too high a spirit to be cumbered with your old nonsense.
Well, we saw a lot of nonsense yesterday in that 5th inning. But we're not encumbered with it today.
No. Nor are we cumbered.
Cumbered or...
The 1-2 to Soriano. He struck him out swinging. And it'll bring up Ryan Theriot, who snapped an 0 for 10 to start the year with a 3-hit performance in Game 1. Arroyo going with his short sleeves. He made some comment about that after his first start at Cincinnati. He's not going to wear the long sleeves. Theriot rips it into left center for his 4th hit of the set.
Talked about the Reds attacking Rich Hill early in the sequence. Ryan Theriot doing the same to Bronson Arroyo. gets a first pitch fastball belt high down the middle of the plate, you're not going to get another pitch that good to swing at the rest of the at-bat, so you might as well whack that first fastball you see in the strike zone. Don't give Arroyo an opportunity to get to those breaking balls.
So Terrio is on board, and Jock Jones will dig in. He had 2 hits, a walk, stole a base, scored a run. And takes it outside. The updates on Ramirez and DeRosa are as follows. Ramirez has tendinitis in his right wrist, taking anti-inflammatories, and as soon as the swelling goes down, he'll be ready to get back to work. So it could be a couple more days. In the case of Mark DeRosa, he's feeling a little bit better with the back. It locked up on him as he was lifting on Wednesday, the day the Cubs were snowed out against Houston. He had never had back problems prior to this week. Lou would like to not have to use him today, and I guess just kind of see how he feels tomorrow. So you take away your starting third baseman and really your main backup. If Ramirez is out of the lineup, at least what we saw in spring training, Lou will likely put DeRosa at third and Terrio at second. But as it is, it's Terrio at third and Cedeno at second.
And Lou had a lot of praise for Mark DeRosa for, in his words, toughing it out yesterday. He wanted to stay away from him if at all possible, but had to bring him into ball game as part of a double switch, and really appreciates what Mark did yesterday under very tough circumstances. Terrio with a couple of stolen bases in the ball game yesterday as well, and we speculated that Lou might get the Rabbits going again today.
Jones was late on that pitch and he missed it. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Arroyo. Now Derek Lee.
Arroyo is a little quicker to the plate than Aaron Harang yesterday. Uses that slide step. If you can guess right when he uses the high leg kick and also guess right when he's throwing the slow breaking ball, you've got a much better chance of stealing a base.
Derek has hit in all 9. He drives it to right. Griffey will make the running catch and end the inning. 1 out single, no runs. We're scoreless after 1.
I was talking to my buddy from the suburbs about all the things that need to be done this time of year. Fertilizing, spraying, trimming, mulching, mowing. He says he has people who do all that. I said same here. Me, myself, and I.
Time to spring into savings at Tractor Supply. Through April 22nd, get a $300 gift card when you buy our 23-horsepower Husky Supreme, or a $150 card with this 20-horsepower Husky. The stuff you need out here is in here. Tractor Supply.
Meet Michael Johnson, the world's fastest man. Michael holds the world 200 and 400-meter records. When he turns off the lights at night, he's in bed before the room gets dark.
Still got it. Brian, what's up? Hey, Michael, how are you?
Moving this quick can make you hot in a hurry. So what does the world's fastest man call for?
Coors Light.
Frost Brewed Coors Light. The world's most refreshing beer.
These are from Michael.
Ladies.
Hi, Michael.
Think we'll make it?
I don't want to get
Gonna love my baby all the time.
It has everything you expect of a European luxury import. And protects the luxury of life like you only expect from a Volvo. Introducing the all-new Volvo S80.
2007 Volvo S80. MSRP starting at $39,400.
Today's Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kids: Chase Horberg, age 10, from Highland Park. Kyle Prendergast, age 11, from Crystal Lake. If you would like to be a Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kid, send your name, age, address, phone number, gender, and a parent or guardian signature to WGN Radio. Good luck.
And those 2 autographs that Matt Merton signed, I believe, were about number 299 and 300 on the morning, along with Ryan Terrio and several of the other Cub players. Matt Merton stood down that left field foul line and signed autographs for about a half an hour before the ball game today.
So he'll face in Conine, Griffey, and Encarnacion in the second. Conine takes it inside for ball 1. Game 2 of this 3-game series. The Reds have taken 3 of the first 4 in the season series. Missed again, 2 balls, no strikes. Cubs entering play today 3-6. As it's bounced foul. The hottest team in the division, the Cardinals, who have won 4 in a row, even though they were rained out last night, at home against Milwaukee. High pop fly over toward the seats behind the Reds bullpen.
Well, it's still early enough in the season where a good series or 2, both individually and collectively as a team, can turn the standings around in a hurry. Players haven't accumulated that many at-bats up to this point, so 3 good games in a row offensively, and you get your numbers right back where you want them. You get a good base to build on for the remainder of the season. And the same thing goes as a team. And we were talking earlier today, there's a lot of very well-established superstar caliber players in baseball that are off to slow starts this year as Conine finds a hole on the left side of the infield. I mean, you can field an all-star team with the guys hitting under the Mendoza line right now. Terrio made a nice diving play to his left yesterday. Just can't quite get to that one.
Griffey Jr. announced still looking for his first home run. 563 in his long career. Kick and the pitch. Slow curve just out of the zone. Conine with a leadoff single on a 3-2 pitch. Now, the guys who you were talking about who have struggled are the track record guys. You mentioned Chase Utley, I know, is one. He's going to hit. Alfonso Soriano, we've seen it here with the Cubs. Who are some other guys?
It just goes on and on. Manny Ramirez for the Red Sox hitting under 200, a 194. David Ortiz 235. Jose Vidro 174. Ichiro 182. It just goes on and on and on. A lot of very good offensive players struggling, partially because of the weather, I'm sure, partially because the pitchers are usually ahead of the hitters early in the season. We just saw Lance Berkman in town with the Houston Astros hitting 172.
How about the Mariners? They've played just 6 games.
I mean, you look at the National League team stats. There are 11 teams hitting under 250.
Past Hill, but right to the second baseman Cedeno. They go 4-6-3 to turn the double play. Worked out all right that Hill couldn't get it.
Well, it worked out perfectly with Ronnie Cedeno and Cesar Torres up the middle of the field. Unless it's a very hard hit ball, chances are with their range, they're going to get to it. And it is fortunate that Rich Hill didn't make contact with that ball and let Ronnie Cedeno begin that double play.
Now the struggling Edwin Encarnacion. He does not have a hit on the Reds' current trip. 0 for 13, and overall he's 0 for his last 14.
Mentioned 11 teams hitting under 250, and with those kind of numbers, as you would imagine, there are 12 teams with an ERA of under 4, including the 3 atop the National League. The Mets at 235, the Padres at 283, and the Dodgers at 286. It's that time of year. You hear in spring training every year, the pitchers are always a little bit ahead of the hitters when spring training starts. But as it progresses, you slowly see the hitters start to catch up a little bit more and a little bit more, and then the rosters are set, and teams take their best 10, 11, or 12 pitchers to open the season, and it starts all over again. The pitchers are once again a little bit ahead of the hitters. And you couple that with the frigid temperatures that we've had early in the season, and it's just not conducive to big offense.
Inside. Third full count. And it's the last 4 hitters for Rich Hill. The wind and the payoff pitch fouled at the plate off Encarnacion. Where's protection?
Seems like he does that at least once a ball game. Did it in yesterday's game against Carlos Zambrano. This one hits right on that protective pad on the left ankle.
Another 3-2 and another foul. Well, what we found with Rich is that when he's had to throw either a strike or a pitch that's hittable, he's done it. Making guys make contact on 3-2 pitches. He froze Dunn on called strike 3. Conine singled on a 3-2. And now he's locked into a pretty good battle against Encarnacion. Here he comes again. And that's the first walk of the year for Rich Hill. Plan your next corporate function or family gathering in the comfort of the Wrigley Field Mezzanine Suites, presented by Nuveen Investments. Suites are available now for games during the season. Be sure to ask about our April discount dates. To book your suite or for more information, call 773-404-CUBS or visit Cubs.com. Juan Castro batting. And he looks at a pitch high. Juan Castro is the only active player with more than 1,000 career plate appearances. In fact, he has over 2,300 who has never been hit by a pitch.
I guess that's a good thing.
It's a little fluky. Little fires over to first again.
Apparently Juan Castro hasn't made any enemies among opposing pitching staffs. Doesn't have an exaggerated home run trot or any reason for pitchers to get upset with him.
Runner goes, got a big jump, no throw. So Encarnacion with the second steal of the year, number 10 for the Reds.
You know, Michael Barrett wisely just sticks this one in his pocket. Rich Hill with a very deliberate delivery to home plate that time. No chance for Michael Barrett. Didn't even risk a throw.
Meanwhile, the hitters count on Castro. And the pitch is a curve that surrounds the zone but can't find it.
I'm not a pitching coach, but it looks like Rich Hill's just not finishing his deliveries in this inning, leaving a lot of pitches up in the zone. That breaking ball stayed up. Different coaches have different ways to say the same thing, but one that I always thought was good is throw through your catcher, not to your catcher. Pick a target and then imagine throwing the ball through that target, not just to it.
So the first time Rich has struggled at all with his command, and that brings pitching coach Larry Rothschild out. Well, we have a moment. We got an email from Kim McQuillan, who writes, I'm having a rooftop party for my husband's 30th birthday at the Cubs game today. Wondering if there's any way the broadcasters can announce something about it on the air. So, Kim, happy birthday to your husband. You didn't email us his name, but it's Kim's husband. Happy birthday.
And we don't know which rooftop, but
no,
I'm sure they're having fun.
Happy birthday, dear Kim's husband. We're just kidding with Kim. But we do occasionally get notes and emails. Can you wish my son or daughter or husband or wife a happy birthday? And then they don't give us the name.
We try to oblige.
I'm going to go with Jim and Kim. That's my guess.
I'll go with Ralph Waldo.
Ralph Waldo McQuillan.
There you go.
Happy birthday. Two quick ones on David Ross. And the runners go, and a swing and a miss. That's a strikeout to end the inning. Good trip by the pitching coach. Hill came back firing bullets.
Visit Bulls.com and click on the AT&T locker room icon for a virtual tour. A chance to win autographed memorabilia and tickets. See who sits where and learn facts about the Chicago Bulls. AT&T takes fans where they've never been before. The locker room, exclusively from the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
Stop up! Where should we sit? Right at first base. Wait, how about along the third baseline? Wow, this is great. Just like having season tickets. Looking for great seats? Buy tickets from other fans. Have extra tickets? Sell them to other fans. Go to StubHub.com today for tickets to the hottest sports, concert, and theater events, even if they're sold out. Peanuts. Hey, there's still tickets right behind home plate. Let's go for it. StubHub, your choice, your ticket, your experience. StubHub!
It's the aorta.
Aorta, Aorta. You ought to go to Libertyville Mitsubishi now.
Get a brand new Eclipse for only $169 a month. The all-new 07 Outlander with sliding third-row seats, just $199 a month.
Mitsubishi Motors, driven to thrill.
It's cardiology.
There's only one, Bob Rohrman.
You owe it to yourself. Bob Rohrman's Libertyville Mitsubishi on Milwaukee Avenue, Libertyville.
Visit Bulls.com and click on the AT&T locker room icon for a virtual tour. A chance to win autographed memorabilia and tickets. See who sits where and learn facts about the Chicago Bulls. AT&T takes fans where they've never been before. The locker room, exclusively from the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world.
Well, 100 lucky random winners won the iPod Nano, a promotion sponsored by Comcast Sportsnet.
Apparently we weren't random enough. Oh, what a great gift. Congratulations.
Yeah, that is a great gift. Strike as we start the bottom of the second.
Apparently we get the iPod Oh No.
Would that be with just John Lennon music?
You know, like, are we getting an iPod? Oh no.
Oh no. No. Inside corner strike. We're told there are plenty of keychains available for us if we'd like to grab a couple of extra keychains. Dropped down that time and was fouled off. Now the Cubs beat Arroyo in Cincinnati on April 4th. Prior to that, they hadn't beaten him going way back to 2005 when he was with the Red Sox. He did not lose to the Cubs at all last year with the Reds. Went 4-0 with a 1-0-1. Slow curve at 68 miles an hour.
Well, Arroyo's breaking ball is the definition of a sweeping curve. He'll start it behind a right-handed hitter, break it all the way across the plate. That one just never took the break. And he'll throw it, as I said earlier, from a variety of arm angles at a variety of different speeds.
Now, is that a pitch, Bob, that you can look for from him, or is that a pitch that most guys early in the count will just stay away from? Because he doesn't throw his fastball very often. compared to most guys.
Early in the sequence, most guys will try to stay away from that unless he makes a mistake with it and leaves it over the inner half of the plate. But that pitch is breaking so sharply away from a right-handed hitter. Unless your approach is to drive the ball to the opposite field, you're probably better off laying off until you have to swing at that breaking ball.
Ground ball right to the second baseman. Phillips down on a knee. Gets it to Castro, and that's an easy turn. The 4-6-3 twin killing. Cliff continues to hit the ball hard, but he hit that one right at Phillips. And Ronnie's still in the starting lineup with DeRosa out, along with Ramirez. Outside.
Well, then in my brief foray into the American League back in 1989 with the Toronto Blue Jays, Cito Gaston was our hitting coach and later became our manager. He was a firm believer in you need to go to the plate and look for what that pitcher is likely to throw you in specific counts. And when you face a guy like Bronson Arroyo, if you're looking for that fastball from the middle of the plate in that you can jerk to left field, it's going to be a long day because he's just not going to make many mistakes on the inside half of the plate, especially not with a fastball. He'll spot it on the outside corner. He'll push you off the plate inside. He may go up the ladder and try to get you to chase a high fastball, but rarely is he going to give you a fastball to hit. So in Cito Gaston's mind, the idea would be to go to the plate and look for that breaking ball. You still have to swing at a strike, and that's where it becomes especially tough against Arroyo because that breaking ball sweeps so hard out of the strike zone.
3-2 at 2 outs. Big leg kick and a pitch popped him up. Too deep in the outfield, and the shortstop Castro will glove it for the third out. Leadoff walk, but no runs. Scoreless through 2 at Wrigley.
I must say, this is going to be interesting.
I advise you to open your eyes.
For an amazing surprise.
What can I say? It's the future, right?
I hear it's wonderful.
I bet you've never seen anything like this before.
There's something going on here.
In the palm of my hand!
Yes, sir. VCast Mobile TV. Channel surf instantly. See all of your favorite channels in digital quality. Real TV, now on your phone. Exclusively from Verizon Wireless.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
If you need to tow it, Quad City Spring has it. Quad City Spring is the area's suspension, spring, truck accessory, and towing experts. From goosenecks and fifth wheels to every kind of hitch imaginable, including Blue Ox base plates and tow bars, strong as an ox. And Quad City Spring installs and services everything they sell. So tow it right. Get your ride to Quad City Spring. Quad City Spring, 34th Street at River Drive in Moline.
So, you're a green person, but which shade? Confusing, isn't it? Well, True Value's Color Made Simple can help. With exclusive tools, trained professionals, and expert advice, finding your color will always be simple. Now let's talk purple. True Value's Color Made Simple.
Meeting the challenge since 1940.
Coming up tonight at 6:30 on Land Rover Sports Night. Will Chicago become America's candidate for the 2016 Olympics? Join Mark Shanowski for Land Rover Sports Night tonight at 6:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. And inside on Bronson Arroyo. Strike 1-1 on the pitcher. Career 0.99 hitter. But he's hitting 200 here in 07. 1 for 5. plays it into center, but Soriano was not playing deep, and he's able to make the catch.
Well, with the wind blowing the way it is today, especially with the opposing pitcher at the plate, makes a lot of sense for those Cubs outfielders, especially in center and right, to cheat in closer to the infield.
Friel popped out to short to start the game on the first pitch, in fact. And that's the kind of information that you have to process as a pitcher and catcher tandem, right? Okay, now he jumped all over the first pitch the last time up. You have to think about that next time around. What did I throw on that first time?
And knowing the history of the hitter a little bit too. I mean, some hitters, if they swing at the first pitch, their first at bat, and make a quick out, are going to try to have an extended at bat that second time up to the plate. Other hitters are still going to go up to the plate looking to swing at the first pitch close to the strike zone.
That's a good look.
Wow.
No, it's a good look here because everybody's bundled up. Need some bright colors in the building.
It's like a nightmare I had once.
The yellow cap on.
Well, there is no such thing as bad clothing on a day like this.
That's right.
Layer up. Can't have bad hair, but there's such thing as a bad wardrobe.
That was a cap shaped as bad hair. Rich Hill now has walked 3 over the last 2 innings. After showing impeccable command in his first start. No walks in 7 innings, and no walks in spring training either. Brandon Phillips with his second at bat. Terrio plays in at third. Lee holds on Friel, who already has 4 steals on the year, and they're back up the middle.
Yeah, don't expect Friel to be over there very long. He's going to try to get a jump and steal as quickly as possible. And with that in mind, Rich Hill goes to the slide step, not allowing Ryan Friel to get any kind of a jump.
Time called at the plate. Cubs with back-to-back lefties. Tomorrow it'll be Ted Lilly.
Well, it's a pitch we saw Rich Hill use successfully against the Brewers. The slide step changeup. Hitter's natural tendency when they see that pitcher come out of the slide step is to try to speed up his approach to the hitting zone, and you throw an off-speed pitch, and Brandon Phillips way out in front.
1-2 the count on Phillips.
I appreciate what Rich Hill is trying to do out there on the mound, and I'm sure Michael Barrett appreciates it as well. Get the ball quickly, unload it to the plate, but be very sure you come to a stop out there on the mound. He's been very close to balking on the last couple pitches.
Way up in the air, sending his Taurus out, and he's under it. 2 away. Well, you cannot take any pop-up for granted today with the way the wind is howling. And it's also the kind of day, just like what we saw normally, Bob, an outfielder is going to take that ball, but everything's going to push those pop-ups back toward the infield. Dunn caught looking at a 3-2 pitch his first time. Slide step, curveball missed. 1 ball, no strikes. He has killed righties early on. Big lead by Friel, and they have him picked off. Lee will get it. to his tourists. They have him now in a rundown, and Derek will apply the tag on the backside. So they pick off Ryan Friel to win the Reds' third.
When the Cubs game is over, stay tuned for Cubs postgame live on Comcast Sportsnet. All the interviews and press conferences, in-depth game highlights, and Dan Plesac breaks down all the action. Cubs postgame live after the game on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. The pressure will mount.
Yeah! Listen to this crowd now!
The intensity will rise because the playoffs are coming.
Oh! Yeah!
Every second counts. Every shot matters as the Bulls' quest for a championship tips off.
It's getting hyped in here now, baby.
It all begins next weekend on the exclusive local home of the Bulls playoffs. Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Wake up to rivalry and wake up to McDonald's. Get any two McGriddle sandwiches for just $3.
On an all-new CMI with Chris Myers, Lou Piniella on his expectations for the Cubs.
The talent is here to win.
And his on-field antics.
I don't like that part of me.
The Chris Myers interview on Comcast Sportsnet.
Here's our LoJack caught stealing. LoJack, the only stolen vehicle recovery system operated by the police. 1363.
Turn on the siren and the red lights. Ryan Friel caught stealing.
One strike on Cesar Torres, his first at bat. He'll be followed by Hill and then Soriano against Arroyo.
Well, this is where you like to see that number 8 hitter reach base leading off the inning. And you always like to see your leadoff hitter reach base, but especially ahead of that pitcher spot. Give Lou the option of having Rich Hill drop down a sac bunt.
Pitchers can blow on their hands to keep them warm today while on the mound. High for ball 2, 2-2. Lou showed some frustration after the ball game. Cubs had a 5-0 lead early, and everything disintegrated in the 5th. Toward right, past the diving Brandon Phillips. So that leadoff guy's on, and Rich Hill now with a sacrifice opportunity.
A great range by Brandon Phillips at second base, but as Torres hits the ball so hard it gets past him as he dives to his left trying to make a play. The ball looked like it went just under his glove into right field for a base hit.
Hill already showing bunt, and he took it for ball 1.
Idea is to bunt that ball to the first base side. Jeff Conine holding on Cesar Torres down there. You can clearly see Edwin Encarnacion cheating way in from third base, anticipating that sacrifice bunt. Have to put the ball down the first base side.
Bunted it foul. Cubs starter Carlos Zambrano yesterday with a double and a home run. He's now tied for 3rd on the Cubs all-time list among pitchers in that home run department. Charlie Root, and a couple away from the all-time record set by Fergie Jenkins. Curveball strike. Now, do you bunt at it because it was a strike, or do you lay off because it was a curveball?
It was a pitch that started out of the strike zone and just dipped in at the last instant to catch that outside corner. That's a tough pitch to reach out there and bunt back to the first base side. You have to believe Rich Hill's going to be bunting even with the 2-strike count right here, showing bunt early. Probably another breaking ball.
And he bunts through strike 3. Well, it's time for today's Comcast Sportsnet poll question. Lou showed a little frustration yesterday, and the question is, and we think we know what the answer is going to be, but do you like having a manager who wears his emotions on his sleeve? Text yes if you like it, no if you don't like it, and text your answer to 55222. We're going to see him wear his emotions a lot.
On his sleeve, on his pants leg, underneath the bill of his cap.
He is brutally honest, and he will not hold back. And there are different managerial styles. Bobby Cox will probably be a Hall of Famer. He's a guy who's very calm and collected. You ask him how's everything going? Fine. Everything's fine. Whether they're in first place or fourth. Now they've been in first a lot in Atlanta under Bobby Cox.
Yeah,
just different personalities.
Joe Torre out of a similar mold. Very calm, cool, and collected under all circumstances.
Inside corner strike. Dusty didn't show a lot of frustration with the media and externally, but you know, behind closed doors he could be very stern and it could get in the guy's face if needed. On the ground is short. Soriano hustling, barehanded play by Phillips. They turn the double play. Wow. What a turn by Brandon Phillips on the barehanded catch and throw. And that gets Arroyo out of the inning. Still 0-0.
No regrets. No regrets. It's been good to me. Take care of it, and it'll be good to you.
Yeah, I hear you, Dad.
Like we said, that one's yours.
From generation to generation, nothing runs like a deer.
Did you ever notice this on our cell phone bill?
Hmm?
We get charged for incoming calls.
What?
Yeah, every time someone calls us, it uses up our minutes.
Let me see that.
Most wireless companies charge you for calls you don't make. With U.S. Cellular, you get unlimited call me minutes, so all incoming calls are free. U.S. Cellular is wireless where you matter most.
U.S. Cellular. We connect with you.
With an exhilarating 258 horsepower VTEC engine, an intelligent performance-minded cockpit, double wishbone suspension, and true surround sound. All you need to do is get in. The TL from Acura.
Now you can lease a TL for $369 a month for well-qualified customers.
Monday, Derek Lee and the Cubs are set for a slugfest at the friendly confines where they host Brian Giles and the Padres in HD, followed by Cubs post-game live. Cubs Padres Monday at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Time for today's Aflac trivia question. Name the former Cub player currently in the Hall of Fame who wore uniform number 42. Tomorrow, Jackie Robinson Day. Busted bat, base hit. Had to wait until Cedeno went by that ball, although even if Ronnie had gotten to it, Rich Hill would not have been over to first in time, I don't believe. Adam Dunn is shaking his head. Looked like Cubs got a bad break.
Now, Alfonso Soriano was shaking his head along with first base coach Matt Sinatro. You can clearly see Soriano beats it by the slightest of margins down there at first base. Foot's on the bag. The ball not yet in Jeff Conine's glove. Tough break right there on that inning-ending double play, but a great turn by Brandon Phillips at second.
Leadoff man is on. Conine 1 for 1.
Hey, you pointed out, Len, that even had Ronnie Cedeno gotten to that Adam Dunn ground ball through the right side, Rich Hill was an observer at that point, was just standing on the mound kind of watching the play. Well, especially when you play those exaggerated shifts.
Deep to left, but Floyd with room. Yeah, you know, I didn't catch Rich on the original play. I was watching the ground ball, but after the play I noticed he wasn't too far from the mound.
I mentioned the exaggerated shift and the fact that Derek Lee has such tremendous range as a first baseman. He's playing deep, trying to give himself as much range as possible. As a pitcher, you have to realize where your defenders are behind you, and it's just a given in the game of baseball. A ground ball to the right side of the infield, the pitcher should always break to first base.
Michael wanted time.
I believe they want to play behind Adam Dunn down at first base, possibly.
They're trying to get Derek's attention from the dugout. Okay, they're telling him they want him to hold him on. And the pitch. Off the outside corner. You know, it's an adjustment for Alan Trammell and Lou Piniella and the rest of the coaching staff that's new here to get guys' attention. It's a little more difficult because of the crown of the field and the deep dugouts.
Well, to that end, Alan Trammell usually stands 2 or 3 steps up out of the dugout so he can get a little better view of where his defenders are out there on the field and move them appropriately.
Dunn's going to take second, and again without a throw. With a second steal for the Reds. Without a throw from Barrett. Now Hill did pick off Friel in the 3rd inning. So they're 2 for 3.
Dunn just taking off on the first movement by Rich Hill. And that first movement to the time he releases the pitch, that's a long time before he releases that ball. And once again, no chance for Michael Barrett. Yeah, Alan Trammell usually stands 2 or 3 steps up out of the dugout so he can see over the crown of the field and make sure all the players are in the proper position depending on who the hitter is.
Popped up by Griffey. And the wind's going to make that a souvenir. The 5th 3-2 count for Hill. They had a quick 10-pitch first inning, but he's thrown a lot of pitches since. Dunn, the runner at second. The front door breaking ball could not catch the inside part of the plate. So Griffey is on. That's a 4th walk for Hill.
We'll get another look. You hear hitters talk about breaking balls that come around the plate. Yeah, if Michael catches that breaking ball in the inside corner, it was never really in the strike zone until he actually received the pitch, and that's not in the strike zone.
The Reds came in 5th in the National League with a .335 on base percentage, but slugging under .400, .382. So Hill over 60 pitches and strikes to balls ratio closer to 1-to-1 than he'd like to see it. There he comes. Popped up by Encarnacion. Foul ground. Derek Lee makes a catch.
What great field awareness Derek Lee has. He was looking high into the sky, tracking the flight of that pop-up as he went into foul territory and kind of stutter-stepped around the bag at first. There's no way he saw the base. He just knew where it was.
Two-time Gold Glover.
Let's take another look. Watch as Derek Lee goes after this pop-up. Gets over there close to the bag, looking straight up, and just kind of zigs and zags around the base. Gets into position to catch a pop-up.
Long list of signs from Barrett. With that runner at second. And a changeup strike. You could see from our center field camera that Rich was choking that baseball with a pitching hand that gave away he was going to throw a changeup.
When a pitcher does that, then Greg Maddux was notorious for that, showing the grip to the runner at second base. The coaching staff, even the players on the field, have to keep a close eye on that runner at second.
Lee takes it by himself to end the inning. So the Reds strand 2, still looking for that first run. Ryan Theriot will lead off when we come back.
Hey, boss, do we have Aflac?
Yeah, we have something else.
But if you're hurt and miss work, does it pay cash like Aflac does?
Nah.
Or let you spend it any way you want, like for gas and groceries?
Nah.
Or help with everyday bills like Aflac does?
Nah.
There's only one Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Nah.
So, you've been going out, huh? Big parties, music, pretty ladies. Son, we need to talk about protection.
Dad, I'm 26.
Yeah, I know. But you're never too grown up for your old man to give you one of these.
Oh, man. Dad, thanks.
Every Coors Light can has a protective liner to lock in that refreshing frost brewed taste.
You can never be too careful.
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Silverado half-ton crew cab, a standard stability control system, and the safety and security of OnStar. No other pickup delivers both. No wonder it's the 2007 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. The all-new Chevy Silverado.
Get this specially equipped 2007 Chevy Silverado half-ton crew cab starting at $27,095 after total cash back. That's right. Get this 07 Silverado half-ton starting at $27,095 after cash back.
Time to answer our Aflac trivia question. Kind of a sore throat for the Duck today. We're giving him the day off with the quacking, but name the former Cub player currently in the Hall of Fame who wore uniform number 42.
You were all over this one.
Yeah, I have his jersey in my basement. Bruce Sutter, Hall of Fame closer. Several Cub players and coaches will wear number 42 tomorrow, honoring Jackie Robinson. Slow offensive start for Theriot. He was 0 for 10 to start the year, but has 4 hits since. So 4 for 6 in the series. Showed bunt and took ball 3.
Well, and somebody a lot smarter than me one time said injuries are opportunities. And Ryan Theriot getting an opportunity because of the injury to Aramis Ramirez to get in the lineup on a semi-regular basis. Taking full advantage.
And Lou said before the game that injuries are not something he's going to discuss as any sort of excuse. He said it's part of the game. The 3-2 to Theriot. He struck him out looking. Now our Panasonic replay. We're going to go back to yesterday's ball game. The sun was out and some stellar defense from the Cubs. Theriot with a nice play. And then later, Derek Lee. And on both of those plays, Derek Lee showing how height can make a difference. And you got to time it too. It's not just being 6'5".
It's like going up for a rebound. Certainly he's very familiar with that. You know, for years Cub fans got very accustomed to Mark Grace over there at first base, and Depending on the skills of your first baseman, it should alter your thinking as an infielder, where you throw the ball. With Mark Grace, you were always better throwing it low than high, because he could pick them out of the dirt as good as anybody. With Derek Lee over there, you know, it's not too bad to throw it high once in a while, because it's going to be tough to throw it over his head. When other guys play first base, you better hit him right in the middle of the chest.
Now, you played. Did you play any first base? You played a little, right?
Yes, I did. Hit me right in the middle of the chest.
You were good. Skip to second, and Phillips gets rid of it in a hurry. Gets Jones by about 4 steps for out number 2. How about using a first baseman's mitt? Was that a little bit of an adjustment?
Indeed it was, mostly because I didn't have one. I had to borrow the first baseman's mitt of Darrell Evans, one of our veterans with the Giants at that time. And it was an old first baseman's glove, well oiled, well broken in. He said, you just get that glove somewhere near the ball and the ball will just be drawn into the webbing. And most of the time he was right.
Did you use a batting glove under your glove at first?
Yes, I did. I used a glove defensively underneath my fielding mitt, but for most of my career I didn't like to use them at the plate unless the weather was like today, extremely cold, and it was tough to get a grip barehanded. But I just thought I had a much better feel if you know, the skin on wood to swing the bat.
Derek Lee with the batting gloves on as he swings at a 1-0 and fouls it back. Guys who don't wear batting gloves stand out today, although it used to be that a lot of guys would have one glove on the bottom hand and no glove on the top hand. You rarely, if ever, see that today. I can't think of one hitter in the big leagues who does that today. It's either both or none. High in the air, but he got under it. The fans want to get excited. The Cubs have not hit for a lot of power. They did get a home run yesterday from their pitcher. End of 4, 0-0.
My truck better have room for all my gear. My tools
better be big inside,
comfortable inside,
keep me organized.
Guys who use trucks help build the all-new Tundra Crew Max, Toyota's biggest and roomiest yet, with the most front and rear legroom in its class, slide and recline rear seat, and the only one in its class with a power vertical sliding rear window. The new 2007 Tundra Crew Max, built in Indiana and Texas. The truck that's changing it all. Get one with 3.9 APR financing. Now it's your Toyota dealer.
When the subject is trucks, you gotta know how to work it. Quad City Spring is all over that. When you need organizing systems for pickups and vans, and Adrian Steel custom setups are your mandatory upgrades, Quad City Spring gets the call. Ladder racks, toolboxes, towing, and truck accessories, we've got you covered. When the subject is trucks, Quad City Spring knows how you want to get it done. Got a truck? Work it, baby. Quad City Spring, 34th Street and River Drive, Moline.
Point. Set. Catch the top names in tennis with players like Agassi, Roddick, and Sharapova doing battle on the Tennis Channel with Mediacom's new Sports Pack. Tournaments, original series, and even instructional programs every day. And with Sports Pack, you have a ticket to NCAA sports like hockey, soccer, volleyball, and more. It's all available to current Mediacom digital cable customers for only $3.95 a month. Just call 888-333-4039. The new Sports Pack, only on Mediacom.
Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet.
Whether you've never been to Wrigley Field or been 1,000 times, a guided tour of the friendly confines has something for everyone. Each 90-minute tour includes a visit to the press box, locker rooms, dugouts, and much more. Tours are sponsored by Bank of America and are available on select dates throughout the season. Tickets are $25 and proceeds benefit Cubs Care. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Identical line scores, 0-2 and 0 for the Reds and the Cubs. Huge crowd today. Temperatures in the mid-40s. Very windy. Wind blowing straight in. Right now from center. David Ross with Terrio way back showed bunt. In from center and shifting a little bit in from right.
Well, those are the kind of things you do when you're mired in a 1-for-19 slump to start the season.
Terrio now peels off and goes over near the tarp, and it's just out of play. Ryan took his eye off the ball to go back, then found it. And made a big turn toward foul ground.
Not the most direct route to where the ball came down, but the way the wind is blowing today, we talked about it the other day with Alfonso Soriano in center field. Sometimes here at Wrigley Field, you have to go against your own better instincts. You see the ball off the bat, you think you know where it's going to go, but in the back of your mind, you always have to take into consideration what is the wind doing? Where is it likely to be pushed? And that time the ball was pushed right up into the stands.
Well, not only is Ross 1-for-19, but he's 0-for-6 with 5 strikeouts against Hill. Well, Rich has not had that great control that we saw early on, but he's getting it done today. Got a called strike 3, so he continues his mastery of David Ross.
Big banana curveball right here from Rich Hill. Yeah, hopefully Rich will be able to get a better feel out there on the mound. He's just hasn't been missing the zone by a lot, but not nearly as sharp as he was his first time out.
Happy belated birthday to Maxine Kennedy Smith. Celebrated her birthday on April 4th. So happy birthday to Maxine. One and two on the opposing pitcher. Comes again, struck him out. Back-to-back Ks to start the 5th. Well, the results of today's Comcast Sportsnet poll question. Do you like a manager who wears his emotions on his sleeve? 94% said yes. So they don't mind Lou getting a little testy after a ball game like he did yesterday. Ryan Friel elevates deep to left center. Floyd's back, and he's on the track, and he puts it away for the 3rd out. Deep fly ball by Friel, but stayed in the yard. Bottom 5 coming up.
I am your idea. I gotta fly. I gotta move. I'm out of the box and in the network. In the zone and on your mind. Don't stop me now. Give me Rico. Rico's always ready to move me. Send me. Here, there, everywhere. This is how we go. Let's go. Rico.
Shining is showing someone the way. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we want to help you live a healthy life. By providing wellness programs and initiatives, we keep you focused on staying well and living well. Because we believe sharing a commitment to a healthy way of living can inspire someone for life.
Lean on me.
Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, shining through.
Holy.
Two sourdough melts for $4.
Incredible.
When you're thinking Arby's, you can't think about anything else. Like 2 Arby's sourdough melts for only $4. Choose from roast beef with melted cheddar or roast ham and melted Swiss. Both on thick-cut sourdough bread. Get any 2 for just $4. They'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
Time now for a GMC Sports Update.
Mark Shanowski here in our Comcast Sportsnet studio. The United States Olympic Committee will decide today between Chicago and Los Angeles as their nominee to host the 2016 Summer Games. The announcement scheduled for 3 o'clock Chicago time. If Chicago is chosen, the selection process will then move on to the International Olympic Committee, which will make its call in 2009. We'll have the full story tonight on Sportsnet at 6:30, but now let's go back to Wrigley Field, rejoin Len and Bob. Guys?
Thank you, Mark. Well, we thought the pitchers might dominate today with the weather conditions, and that's been the case so far.
Well, I mean, you take the temperature out of the equation. When you have the wind blowing in from center field the way it is today, it would behoove any pitcher just to throw fastballs up and out over the plate and let them see how far they can hit it. Ryan Friel hit what looked like it had home run distance, and the ball just got knocked down on the warning track out there in left field.
So Michael Barrett starts the last of the 5th. Versus Arroyo, who's only given up a couple of singles. He wanted to pull the trigger, but then didn't, and took it for a strike. We talk so much about swinging at hitters' strikes when the count is in your favor. That was a pitcher's strike, and that one hammered foul. You know, last year the Cubs didn't walk very much, but they also did not strike out a lot. Yet it was not an effective offense. They made contact probably as well as any team in the big leagues, but a lot of it was not good contact. It was a team that did not square it up enough and hit for enough power. This team is built differently than last year. Tomahawked into left center field, and it's going to be off the wall for Barrett. A very long single as Ryan Friel got over quickly, got it back in, and kept Michael to a 1-base hit. Well, he kept it low. That allowed it to get all the way out to the wall. But a good play by Friel.
Yeah, really good play by Ryan Friel. Michael Barrett flexing his muscles a little bit. That particular area of the ballpark, right there between the 368 mark and the grounds crew door out there in left center field. That is where you can get some, I wouldn't want to call them cheap home runs, but that's where the ball seems to jump pretty well if you hit it on a line like Michael Barrett did.
Brings up Cliff Floyd, who bounced into a 4-6-3 double play his first time. And he lines it into center.
Oh, my.
Tell you what, that ball carried a lot farther than I thought it would. It just kind of stayed up and got out almost to Friel, who had to play it on a hop. I have a feeling that Cliff's going to break a ball. It's just going to simply explode off his bat one of these days.
That is just a tracer. That ball never gets higher than about 10 or 12 feet off the ground and forces Ryan Friel in center field to back up and play it on a hop. Yeah, I mean, Bob Albrecht brings up a term that's used in baseball all the time, a frozen rope. That was it right there.
That's a great point. It just stayed up in the air, but not very much up in the air. Bunted foul by Ronnie.
Some guys, because of the swing plane, the angle that the bat takes as it gets into the hitting zone, they seem to hit down and through that ball and get the really good backspin. And Cliff Floyd consistently gets that bat down and through the ball and gets that great backspin, makes those line drives carry.
Reds expecting the bunt again after Cedeno just fouled off on the bunt attempt. Pitcher and catcher going to get their signals right. Hey, one of the things they've changed here at Wrigley in the offseason, they upgraded the sound system in the lower bowl area. So it's now state-of-the-art. Part of a master plan to enhance the fan experience at Wrigley through replacement and upgrades of the audio and video system. The fans today enjoying the sounds of Gary Pressey, the longtime Wrigley Field organist. Mike Turson handling the public address announcing. Hi, Gary. Max and Mike in the front. Pulled it back, but the ball got by Ross. Ronnie pulled the bat back. Didn't have a chance to swing at it, however. It was way outside on a wild pitch. So that changes everything now. Second and third, no outs.
And one thing, when you have a pitcher that changes speed so often, especially on that breaking ball, sometimes the catcher can get fooled a little bit by the amount of break on that curveball. And that time Ross just didn't get out there far enough. It was way wide of the strike zone, but I think he was surprised by how much that ball broke.
The 2-1 to Cedeno. Fly ball sending Dunn back. He will catch it. Both guys tagging. And both guys in. Barrett scores and Floyd into third. Heads up base running by Cliff. Even though that ball was hit to left, it was deep enough and Dunn was going back on it. So a sacrifice fly for Cedeno, and it's 1-0.
As a trail runner on a play like that, you're taught to tag up just like the runner at third base and then read it. And as you mentioned, Adam Dunn was still backpedaling a little bit when he made the catch. Cliff Floyd knew he was going to have to gather and regroup and then get the ball back into the infield. His throw was offline and late. Good base running by Cliff Floyd.
All four Reds infielders in at the edge of the grass. And Arroyo wants to chat with Ross once again.
.62 pitches on the ball game for Bronson Arroyo. A lot of the 22 balls that he has thrown in this game are by design. We've seen him go up the ladder with four-seam fastballs when he's been ahead in the count. We've seen him throw some fastballs off the plate away just to give the hitter a speed to gauge before going back to that breaking ball.
Floyd got a word of advice from Mike Quaddy, and it's outside on his Taurus. 1 ball, no strikes. Aaron Harang struggled yesterday, battling a head cold. He got a no decision. Squeeze time. His Taurus got it down. Floyd scores, and Cesar thrown out. He threw his whole body into that suicide squeeze bunt, and it's 2-0. His Taurus basically fell down just trying to make contact, and he'll get a great hand from his teammates.
Surprised this doesn't get an argument from Jerry Nairn. It looked like his Taurus was way out there over home plate, almost out of the batter's box, but gets the job done. You may have noticed David Ross was called out to the mound by Bronson Arroyo. Not only did he set up outside to receive the pitch, he was set up outside to call the pitch. I think they were perfectly content to throw Cesar's Taurus 4 wide ones right there and walk him. But his Taurus thwarts that by leaning out over the plate and somehow getting that ball down in fair territory.
Well, the Cubs manufacturing 2 runs.
Yeah, you see where David Ross is set up to receive this pitch. He's in the right-handed batter's box. Well, that may be one of those plays. If Jerry Nairn had a better look at what happened at home plate, he may have come out to argue that call.
Arroyo throws out Hill, but the Cubs get 2. Back-to-back singles to start the inning, helped by a wild pitch and then a sac fly and a suicide squeeze.
The word is prestidigitation.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
The magician was a master of prestidigitation.
Can I switch words?
The word is zoo.
Zoo.
If only it was easy to switch to something better. Fortunately, you can call or just bring in your prescription bottle and we'll switch your prescription to Walgreens for you. It's that easy.
Gravity will propel this Lexus IS over 4,000 feet in a matter of seconds. This Lexus IS will attempt to cover the same distance even faster. The
306 horsepower Lexus IS 350. So much for gravity. Attractive leases available on all 2007 IS models for a limited time at your Lexus dealer.
Grubs. Their mission? Destroy your lawn. Now there's Bear Advanced Season-Long Grub Control with Merit. Its exclusive 2-in-1 formula stops grubs all season. Plus, it revitalizes your lawn, guaranteed. Bear Advanced.
Try Arby's new Market Fresh Tuscan Turkey Sandwich. Freshly sliced turkey, thick-cut pepper bacon, and sun-dried tomato spread on our 3-cheese focaccia. So good, it'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
Monday, Derek Lee and the Cubs are set for a slugfest at the friendly confines when they host Brian Giles and the Padres in HD, followed by Cubs postgame live. Cubs Padres Monday at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Midas. Visit Midas for brakes, expert auto maintenance, and tires. And by the all-new full-size 2007 Toyota Tundra.
Tickets are still available for Cub home games on weekdays in April and May, even in the Bud Light bleachers. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Everybody bundled up today, and the Cubs trying to snap a 4-game skid and get their first Wrigley win under Lou Piniella. Brandon Phillips starting the 6th. Rich Hill with a 2-0 lead as he looks for his second win in as many starts. Full week off in between starts. Soriano will watch it bounce, and Jock Jones backing that play up.
I mentioned on that suicide squeeze by Cesar Asturias, watch his left foot as he squares around to bunt the ball. He is out of the batter's box at that point, and Rule 603 said the batter's legal position shall be with both feet within the batter's box. And that means any part of your foot in contact with any part of the chalk, you're still considered to be in the batter's box. But it looked to me like Asturias stepped over that inside line behind home plate and was technically out of the batter's box, something that you cannot see from the visitors' dugout here at Wrigley Field.
Boy, great job just to get a bat on the ball and put it in fair play, and Cubs got their second run because of it. Here's a guy who very rarely will be called upon to do that, Adam Dunn, if ever. He's paid to swing the bat.
Well, he could probably bunt 350 if he just dumped that ball down the third baseline with that shift.
Wynn's going to push this one way out of play. And there's a vendor down there. I don't know what he's selling, but some sort of beverage. And I think the ball landed right in his cart. She's all right. She got hit by that foul ball. May have caromed and then came back and hit her. Fouled at the plate by Dunn. Well, that's the last thing you want. You're buying a beverage and all of a sudden there it goes.
A couple of those guys diving into the pile weren't necessarily going after the ball. No. I think they saw an advantage to maybe snatch a beverage.
How about two? They turn it for 6-3. Second double play turned by the Cubs.
Taylor made double play ball. Adam Dunn does a lot of things well on the baseball field. Running down the first baseline is not one of them. And boy, he hits the ball so hard. Really gives those infielders an opportunity to roll that double play.
Cedeno again down to his right knee, pops up, throws out Kona, and a good shutdown inning for Rich Hill after his offense gave him a 2-0 advantage.
Chevy. With 8 models that get an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon highway or better. And we're so confident of our quality, every one is backed by something no one else has. The best coverage in America, including the GM 100,000-mile warranty. Get a 2007 Chevy Cobalt Sedan LS starting at $13,590 after cash back. That's an 07 Cobalt Sedan LS starting at $13,590 after cash back.
Tomorrow, the series wraps up in Cleveland as Joe Crede and the Sox go head-to-head with Grady Sizemore and the rival Indians. Coverage starts with Felco White Sox pregame live. White Sox Indians tomorrow at 11:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
So, you're a green person, but which shade? Confusing, isn't it? Well, True Value's Color Made Simple can help. With exclusive tools, trained professionals, and expert advice, finding your color will always be simple. Now let's talk purple. True Value's Color Made Simple.
Meeting the challenge since 1940.
QC Auto Service Centers, serving the Quad City area for over 30 years.
Hi, this is Dan Elias for QC Auto Service Centers. Let's talk brakes. Do you have to stomp on your brakes to stop?
Ensure your family's safety by driving into any one of our 3 QC Auto Service Centers. Our techs will inspect your vehicle's brakes free. We'll install lifetime guaranteed original equipment, brake pads, and shoes.
QC Auto Centers with 3 convenient locations: Bettendorf, Davenport, and Moline, keeping you on the road.
Live weeknights at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Tomorrow, Jim Thome and the White Sox wrap up their series in Cleveland when they slug it out with Travis Hafner and the Indians. Coverage starts with Felco White Sox pregame live. White Sox Indians tomorrow morning at 11:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. It's 2-0 Cleveland in the 5th inning as they lead the White Sox today. A couple of solo home runs for the Indians. Ryan Garco and Josh Barfield found back by Soriano. He has been, it seems like, 0-2 in the count a lot in the early going. Arroyo again, and a pop fly behind first. Phillips racing over, drops foul. Cubs signed Soriano to an 8-year contract with $136 million, the 5th most lucrative contract in the history of baseball. Only 4 players have signed for a larger total sum: Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Manny Ramirez, and Todd Helton. San Pedro de Macorís, Dominican Republic. That's where Sammy Sosa's from. Hotbed of baseball talent. And began his pro career in Japan. Drops it in front of Dunn for his first hit today.
Time got a breaking ball. He was able to reach out and hook back to left field. You can see it stayed right there on the outside corner. Arroyo was trying to sweep that pitch off the plate away. Soriano, with that great plate coverage, was able to reach out there and hook it back to left field.
Arroyo slinging that throw over to Conine.
Well, if you were with us yesterday, you know that Alfonso got picked off first base for the 2nd time this season. A huge leadoff, and I believe he got caught trying to peek in at the catcher's signs.
Terrio pushes a bunt back to Arroyo. Quick look at second, and he throws to first. The 3rd sacrifice, counting flies and bunts, over the last 2 innings for the Cubs, playing small ball today.
Well, not only is this a good day to play small ball, but it's a good lineup to play small ball with. Ryan Terrio, very good at getting down those sac bunts. Ronnie Cedeno, Cesar Torres down at the bottom. Michael Barrett, a guy that isn't asked to do it very often, but is a very good bunter as well. And under the conditions today, you play for a run every time you get a chance.
Jock played on the Major League All-Star team that toured Japan in November. Got him. Oh, man. Soriano picked off for the third time already. Twice at first base, and today at second.
And this one really hurts because you gave up an out to move Soriano into scoring position at second base. You could see Castro had that foot down between the hand of Alfonso Soriano and second base. Never allowed him to get back to the bag. That's the equivalent of a catcher blocking home plate. You can clearly see Soriano's right hand jamming up against the foot of Juan Castro.
And the 0-2 to Jones. Over Castro, base hit. So he extends his hit streak to 7. And it brings up D. Lee, who's 0 for 2.
Oh, and of course, when you bunt a runner to second base, get him picked off, the next guy's going to get a base hit. Take one more look at that pickoff at second base. You see Castro with his foot down there. Soriano's hand never gets to the base until Castro jumps out of the way. Pretty easy call for second base umpire Dana Demuth.
Lee trying to extend his hit streak to 10. Fouls it off to the right. And again, the way this team is constructed, when you get into the middle of the summer and everybody's bat really going, you really can't afford to have guys getting picked off and caught stealing. You have to be a little bit more cautious. Alfonso could be pressing a little bit early on. And struggled at the plate. Still learning his new position in center field. Fortunately, the Cubs lead 2-0. And you hope that doesn't come back to bite him. Swing and a miss. I can tell you one thing. You talk about no secrets in this game, and Alfonso can expect a ton of throws from here on out as teams look at the tape and say, well, 3 teams have already nailed him.
Now, there are a number of scouts at every ball game watching every pitch, every play. They make detailed reports and file them with their home teams, and nothing goes unnoticed.
Soriano with 1 steal and over 40 last year. The 3-2 of the runner going. It's outside, first and second. Ryan Theriot had a base running mistake on the last trip. And when you're not scoring runs, those kinds of things stand out even more. I mean, if you're hitting 3-run homers all over the ballpark, you don't notice the base running blunders, but they stand out when you're scuffling. Barrett trying to keep the inning alive with 2 men on, and he pops it up into right. Griffey coming over. Phillips makes a very nice catch. It would have landed fair. Brandon Phillips had a long run. He got over there and made the basket catch. 2 hits, a walk, but a pickoff in the inning, and the Cubs lead 2. It's 2-0.
Got an old buddy waiting for a visit in Washington? Fly Southwest Airlines from Chicago Midway to Baltimore, Washington, or Washington Dulles International for just $59 one way. Purchased by May 17th.
You are now free to move about the country.
Meet Magnus Vermagnuson, the strongest man in the world. Mr. Magnuson can lift a car over his head, carry an anvil the length of a football field,
Magnus.
pull a 747 jet with his teeth. And at the end of a long, hot, strenuous day, what does the world's strongest man call for?
Coors Light.
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Magnus. Hey, buddy. How? Sorry.
We know you like style. We know you like performance. We thought you'd like fuel economy as well. With the Pontiac G6, you get the same fuel economy as Camry, with even more power. The new Pontiac, designed for action.
Now, after all available offers, the G6 sedan starts at $16,145. For more information, visit PontiacDrive.com.
Every night, only one show brings you closer to the teams that matter most. Sports Night on Comcast Sportsnet. Highlights, breaking news, interviews, and more time to tell in-depth stories. Land Rover Sports Night. Every night, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. The pressure will mount.
Listen to this crowd now.
The intensity will rise because the playoffs are coming. Next weekend on the exclusive local home of the Bulls playoffs. Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
It's that time. It's time for Kawasaki. Let the good times roll.
People still with their winter gear out in mid-April, but having fun at the park.
Tough to eat cotton candy with mittens on.
Yeah. We'll have to get on our colleague Pete Toma, who not working today, but you might have seen him in the middle of that sequence as Griffey, long loopy swing and flies out to center. Pete had a shot at a foul ball and ran away from it as quickly as he could.
Well, that was embarrassing.
Well, Rich Hill into the seventh. He went 7 his first time out and got the win in Milwaukee. Trying to beat the Reds for the second time in his career. 2 complete games against the Reds, both last year. The Cubs' only complete game performances of 2006. Although one, I believe, was rain shortened in Cincinnati. That was September 22nd. 5 innings. And he was tagged with a loss. Gave up 4 runs on 4 hits, walked 2, struck out 10. It was the first Cubs lefty to toss back-to-back complete games since Steve Trout in 1987. Pretty good job by Encarnacion. That pitch was inside. I don't know if it was that inside. He had to jump out of the way. And he took it for ball 3, and it's full. Back to the pitcher, Rich Hill. And the offer continues for Encarnacion. 0 for his last 16.
Well, you mentioned that pitch before. Fastball inside. Not that far inside, but Encarnacion, a little body language there, tries to buy a call from Kerwin Danley, and that time it worked.
Right-hander Kirk Saarloos is up. Bernard Berrien, outstanding Bears wide receiver, will take me out to the ball game after the 3rd out is recorded.
Got to feel right at home today. Feels like a mid-season game at Soldier Field.
Hill to wind in the 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There it comes again. Struck him out swinging. Stretch time.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Chicago Bears wide receiver Bernard Berrien.
Come on, Cubby fans, let's get Wrigley Field rocking. And a 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. I don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Woo! Come on, Jay, let's hear it. We need some more runs. We got to make sure the Cubbies get this win tonight.
Single again. Will I still look eligible with gray hair? Is that all people will see? How do you make a clean break?
Just for Men stops gray from hiding who you are. Easy with 5-minute Target Gray technology.
Dating again is easier than I thought. And you wonder, why did I ever put up with gray hair?
Let the real you come through. Stay in the game with Just for Men.
This is the next generation of advanced driving. Where racing heritage and a 240 horsepower turbocharged engine connect. Where sophisticated technology and the sheer joy of driving combine to take you way past the state of the art. It's called the RDX from Acura, a vehicle of perfect proportion.
Now you can lease an RDX for $369 a month for well-qualified customers.
Try Arby's new Market Fresh Tuscan Turkey Sandwich. Freshly sliced turkey, thick-cut pepper bacon, and sun-dried tomato spread on our 3-cheese focaccia. So good, it'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
Cubs 2, Reds nothing. Cubs try to tack on here. Bernard Berrien, Bears wide receiver, is with us. It is bear weather today. And great to have you with us in the booth. Nice job with the 7th inning stretch.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've been hearing a lot about it. We've been having Bears American Idol going on. No competition.
Oh, yeah? Well, how'd you feel?
I felt good.
Good.
Felt good. It's kind of, you know, different seeing with all the fans out here at an event like this. That is definitely different.
Yeah, there's no Simon Cowell in the booth, so, you know, we're not going to.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about getting judged by Simon. No. I like Simon, though. Simon tells it as it is.
Bouncer toward the hole, but cut off by Phillips. Is a good defensive day, but Conine couldn't squeeze it, and Cliff is on. The error will be on Conine.
Yeah, it looked like a throw that Jeff Conine would normally catch. Brandon Phillips showing that tremendous range and just doesn't stretch out there. Kind of an awkward angle. Most first basemen are used to catching throws from that angle, but I'm sure Jeff Conine would tell you that's a ball he's got to handle.
So the Cubs will try to take advantage. The 5th error of the year for Cincinnati. Runner on for Ronnie Cedeno. He hit a sac fly in the 5th inning to put the Cubs on the board. Long pause by Arroyo, and time called before the pitch. Now, Bernard, you're from California. Did you have a favorite baseball team?
I did. I would hate to say it right now because, you know, where we're at. But I grew up a Giant fan.
A Giants fan?
I was a Giants fan.
Do you remember Bob Brenly, the catcher?
No, I
sitting
don't.
right next to you.
He's way too young for that.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, back in the 80s. Bunted by Cedeno. And Arroyo will throw him out. Who is your favorite Giant?
Who is my favorite Giant? Well, I got to go with Barry, of course.
So, did you attend games at
I never actually made it to a baseball game. I was a 49er fan growing up, and I only went to one 49er game. So,
what did he miss at Candlestick, BB?
Not a thing. It felt like this at Candlestick Park in August.
Yeah, it does get cold out there. I do know that.
Runner at second for his Tourists, who laid down a suicide squeeze bunt to push home the 2nd run. The Cubs scored both in the 5th. talked to your coach the other day, Devin Hester
Kevin
as well.
Devin,
and
yeah.
The one thing Coach Smith told us is this time you're going to get there and you're going to win it all.
Yeah, that's the only thing we got to do. That's the only thing that's left to do now. It's just one rail on the ladder to climb, and that's it.
Well, in that respect, what did you learn last year, your first experience at a Super Bowl, that maybe will help you guys next year when you get back there?
I think we'll be a little bit more prepared with, I think, as far as just more of the outside activities that have to do with the Super Bowl. It'll be a little bit smoother ride for us. We'll know what to expect, what not to expect, and pretty much how to carry ourselves throughout the week, the weekly events.
Now, I'm sure you were warned, you were told what's going to go on, but is it something that you really have to go through to experience?
Yeah, it's definitely something you have to go through. I mean, you can have all the warnings and everybody tell you about what's going to happen, what's going to go on, who's going to come at you with all kind of whatever you want to say they want to come at you with. But until you experience it, you never know. So I'm glad we got the chance to experience it.
Now, did you get the media who came in and didn't want to know anything about football?
Oh, yeah.
There's media day. What was the craziest question you were asked?
I can't remember what it was. I can't remember. I've tried to remember because I've been asked so many times what was the craziest question I was asked. And I remembered it for a while. And I remember I gave the crazy response back to him. And he was kind of confused. So he looked back at me like, and I was like, yeah, that's what you get for answering a crazy question. So.
Kudlanga's a lefty and Santos is the right-hander. 2-2 the count on his tourist. Bernard Berrien in the booth with us. And it's now 3-2.
It says on your bio here you're a big fan of snakes. Man.
I do. I like snakes. I got a little snake named Roscoe after a TV show. It's kind of funny.
Did you say little?
Well, I mean, he's snake? Little right now. Yeah,
okay.
He's little right now. He won't get too big. He'd probably, at the most, I'd say 4.5 feet.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, that.
What kind of snake?
It's a ball python.
And what kind of damage can a python do? Probably a lot, I would think.
Yeah, I think once he gets to his full potential size, he probably could, if I let him, he probably could choke me to death. But
now, how do you train him?
That's you. I mean, you got to pick him up you got to play with him. I don't know how you play with a snake, but you know what I mean.
I hope you know how to. He's your snake, not ours. There's a bouncer to second, and his tourist is out. But no, so you have to
just constantly let him get familiar with you and the people that are going to be around him, so that it's not someone new coming up to him, and then all of a sudden, he gets into his instinct and wants to choke.
And what's his name again?
Roscoe.
Roscoe.
Yeah.
I like that. Big Pole heading out to chat with Arroyo. Darrell Ward will be the pinch hitter. So we see all these nicknames. Which one do you prefer? B squared? I mean, what would you go by?
I usually, most of the times, I go by, most of it's B twice. I go by B twice. Tank Johnson, he calls me B double. So that's what, it's either that. Usually those two.
I was going to ask, like in baseball, most sports, everybody has a nickname.
A nickname, yeah.
Do most of the guys in the Bears locker room have a nickname?
Usually.
Who do you call by their first name? Just their regular name?
Wow.
Is there anybody? What do you call Rex?
Actually, I call Rex Rex.
Okay,
Yeah.
So
no, Rex is Rex.
Well, your thoughts on Rex? I know it took a lot of heat, but Lovey stuck by him and got you guys to the Super Bowl.
Took way too much heat for what was going on. A lot of that wasn't all totally on Rex. Rex is a great quarterback. He's going to be a great quarterback. It's just, getting the experience. It's his first year. Any quarterback, you can look like almost every quarterback that actually started their first year had, went through some tough times, and he had an excellent season for what we did, and he took us to a Super Bowl. You can't be too disappointed with that.
Here comes ball 4 as a intentionally walk. The pinch hitter award to get to Soriano. The first and third with 2 outs. Double barrel action, as we mentioned, in the Reds bullpen.
I feel a home run.
That would be nice. The Cubs with 1 home run on the homestand, and that was from their pitcher, Carlos Zambrano, yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
And Soriano looking for his first as a Cub. The kick and the pitch. It's low, ball 1.
Well, Soriano would like to make up for that pickoff.
I would definitely feel like a good luck charm if he hit one, too.
a strike. Oh yeah, if the Cubs win today, you're coming back tomorrow. Monday night and
Monday night,
Tuesday afternoon. Good curveball. Upper part of the zone. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Rare fastball from Arroyo, and only an 88.
And once again, not in the strike zone. Now, rarely will he throw that fastball anywhere you can take a real good swing and do damage. He'll elevate it. He'll throw it off the corners.
Low and outside. Our associate producer Mark Brady, of course, telling me the obvious that I missed. Bob Brenly is BB.
You did. When you said BB, I was like, oh.
Yeah. So do you, anybody ever call you BB?
I do get
Okay.
BB. I do
So
get
there's
BB.
another nickname. Ground ball. Diving attempt by Encarnacion. Castro came up with it. Safe at first. Soriano beat the throw as it was bounced by the shortstop, and he gets an RBI as Floyd scores the 3rd run of the game.
That's good. Good.
So Soriano with his first RBI, and it's a hit to keep the inning alive.
So you guys got to tell me, you guys see the first pitch?
No, we have not seen the first pitch.
With the speed of Alfonso Soriano, legging out that infield hit, hustling out of the batter's box.
Terrio
Nice.
into center.
This will be another run.
Darrell Ward coming around. Here's a throw by Friel. Going to kick off the mound, and a little collision at the plate as Ward collided with David Ross. Inadvertent as Ross had to try to go get that ball, and everybody's all right. So Bernard, BB, B-Dub, you have been a good luck charm as the Cubs have doubled their lead.
That's great to know.
And that's going to be it for Arroyo.
They're pulling them. I wonder what that does to your confidence. Does it, you know?
I think over the course of a long season, most pitchers get used to getting jerked out of ball games at some point.
I know I'm in a football game and I get sat down, I'm ready to kill someone.
So pitching change for the Reds. You see this little collision here.
Well, that qualifies as a big hit on a baseball field. It ain't much on a football field.
Yeah.
So a pitching change for the Reds. We'll be back to Wrigley in a moment.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Silverado half-ton crew cab, a standard stability control system, and the safety and security of OnStar. No other pickup delivers both. No wonder it's the 2007 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. The all-new Chevy Silverado.
Get this specially equipped 2007 Chevy Silverado half-ton crew cab starting at $27,095 after total cash back. That's right. Get this 07 Silverado half-ton starting at $27,095 after cash back.
Is it possible to engineer desire?
Left-hander John Kudlangas is on for the Reds in relief of Bronson Arroyo, and ball one outside on Jock Jones. Bernard Berrien, Bears wide receiver, handled our stretch. When we get a moment here, we're going to check out the ceremonial first pitch. 4th appearance for Kudlangas. Big scoreless inning in the ball game yesterday, following the Reds getting that those 6 runs in the 5th inning. All right, BB, you can give us a scouting report on B-Dub.
Nice hat tip. First of all, that was good. Good fastball inside. Push him off the plate. I like that. Did you play any baseball growing up?
I did play just a little baseball for over 3 years. Played for 3 years. I wanted to play a little bit longer, but I was in too many sports to play. I had to make too many decisions.
Yeah, that's tough for youngsters nowadays. Just about every sport has turned into a 12-month thing. Yeah.
Long.
Check swing by Jones. On a personal level, what was the highlight of the year for you?
I would say, I think just that first playoff win, that very first playoff win, getting over that hump, because what we've been hearing about that, and then I think it just made it a whole lot easier to go the rest of the way.
Big overtime win over Seattle. Dribble foul. He had a big 68-yard touchdown pass.
It's a beautiful play call.
That ballpark, Soldier Field, is electric, and it had to be unbelievable during the
season. The fans are crazy. I love our fans. They're so into it. Is what I like about them. They really show their support, up or down.
2-2 on the way is low and outside, and it's full on Jones.
I got to talk to Lou. Get me on the Cubs.
Oh, yeah?
Pinch run, steal some bases.
Yeah.
I can do that. I'm not hitting anything.
Runners go, and it's fouled back. Who was the guy we were talking about? Was it Herb Washington, BB? Who was a designated pinch runner?
Yeah, Herb Washington.
Herb Washington with Oakland in the 70s. Yeah.
Ryan Terrio's base hit kind of went unnoticed, but clean single right back up the middle of the field. Terrio continues to take full advantage of the opportunity he's getting here to play while Aramis Ramirez is on the shelf for a few days.
Ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Derek Lee. And that's going to be it for Kudlangas. Bernard Berrien, thanks for the time. We look forward to watching you guys have another great season and hopefully get back to the Super Bowl once again and win it this time.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Keep an eye on Roscoe, all right?
I'm definitely going to watch Roscoe.
All right, Bernard Berrien with us. 4-0, Cubs lead.
Have you noticed how many car ads want you to hurry in? Hurry in, don't wait. They want you to hurry because they don't want you finding out what the best car really is. This is the Toyota Camry, the 2007 Motor Trend Car of the Year. So, you know, it's the best car.
And now, lease the famously popular Toyota Camry for just $229 a month. Toyota, a great way to keep moving forward.
Shining is taking responsibility. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we know managing your health care can be overwhelming, and it's our job to help you meet the challenge. By guiding, supporting, and showing the way, we encourage you to gain control. Because we believe the best tool we can give you is the confidence to take charge. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, shining through.
You've never driven anything like it. The Nissan Murano. Seamless, efficient acceleration from its CVT transmission. You've never seen anything like it. SUV versatility, 5-star safety rating in one beautiful package. Lease the Nissan Murano for just $299 a month. Feel it, see it, believe it. At your Nissan dealer now.
Victor Santos is the third Reds pitcher this inning. And he's going to face D. Lee with the bases full of Cubs. Arroyo taken out. Kudlangas walked the only batter, Jones, he faced. And now it's Lee. Cubs have doubled their lead. Off the outside corner, 1 ball, no strikes. Thanks to Bernard Berrien for joining us. In the dirt, 2-0. In some situations like this, you might take, but I think if Derek gets the one he wants, he's going to jump all over with his team already ahead. We'll see. Here it is. Swinging away into right center. Frio won't get it. Could clear him. Soriano in. Terrio behind him. Here comes Jones. And it's a 3-run double. Hit streak at 10 for Lee, and it's 7-zip.
Good call, partner. There are situations in a ball game where Derek Lee would take this 2-0 pitch, but with the bases loaded, the Cubs looking for the kill. D. Lee lines one through the teeth of the wind into the gap in right center field to clear the bases.
Well, it had to feel really good. Ball one on Barrett. Inning kept alive by Soriano with the RBI infield single. And Terrio followed with an RBI hit, the walk to Jones, and the 3-run double by Lee. It started, the inning did, with an error. Now the first baseman, Jeff Conine. So Rich Hill with a chance to improve to 2-0. And Barrett's aboard. So Cliff Floyd, who started the inning reaching on an error, will bat again. Rich Hill with 7 shutout innings, gave up 3 hits. He walked 4, struck out 5 through 95 pitches. Santos ready. Here he comes. Ball one. I would say it was a quietly dominating performance by Rich Hill. Nothing he did today really dazzled you. But when you add it all up, 3 hits in 7 innings, no runs.
Well, the 4 walks was a little surprising given the fact Rich hadn't walked anybody yet this year in spring training or the regular season, but he was effective when he needed to be. Made the pitches he needed to make.
Towering pop fly. Near done, and he catches it for the out. 10 come to the plate. 5 score, and it's 7-0.
Thank you. I love your curls.
Who's counting on your brakes today? Your brakes are too important to trust to just anyone. That's why you should come to Midas now. At Midas, brake pads or shoes are just $89.95 per axle installed. Be safe.
Just a Midas touch. You guys ready?
For the glorious future
of entertainment.
Ooh. You can get it now.
Right here on what looks to be
one of the finest machines that I've ever seen up close and personal.
You like it? I can't wait. This is going to be so awesome.
This is VCast Mobile TV. Channel surf instantly and see your favorite channels in digital quality. Real TV, now on your phone. Exclusively from Verizon Wireless.
Chevy. With 8 models that get an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon highway or better. And we're so confident of our quality, everyone is backed by something no one else has. The best coverage in America, including the GM 100,000-mile warranty. Get a 2007 Chevy HHRLS starting at $15,800 after cash back. That's an 07 HHRLS starting at $15,800 after cash back.
You know, once you play a tenth of your schedule, you should start having a pretty good idea. You know, spring training is good, But it's more for evaluating young kids than anything else. But once the season starts, I mean, you're playing for real, and all these games count. So, yeah, the 10th of your schedule, 16 games, you should start getting a pretty good idea of not only for me, how to use these guys the best way. The best way. Because I've seen them enough.
That's Lou Piniella talking about how long does it take him to kind of get a feel for his club, and he said, yeah, 16 games. You look at it as 10 16-game schedules. Kind of an interesting way to look at it. The Cubs playing game 10 this afternoon.
Yeah, a lot of different theories by different managers on how to approach the season. We've heard the old cliche about just win series, and if you look up at the end of the season, you take 2 out of 3. You know, win every series, you're going to be right where you want to be at the end of the season. But never heard it put quite that way. Break it down into tenths. Use the first 16 games to evaluate your own team, see their strengths and weaknesses and how they best fit together, and make the appropriate adjustments for the next 10th of a season, and so forth and so on, until hopefully you're playing in October.
All of the runs for the Cubs in the 7th, all 5 were unearned. Ground ball and a stop by Torres. Does he have time? Save. Ross just beat it. Excellent effort by Torres, and Ross gets the infield single.
Great play just to get to that ball, but as Torres gets quickly to his feet, he knows who the runner is. David Ross, the opposing catcher, so he goes ahead and fires across in the hopes of getting the slow-footed catcher, but there's too much time had elapsed. He did everything he could to possibly get the out at first base, but no deal. Infield hit for David Ross.
Scott Hatteberg is pinch hitting for Santos. So while all the runs were unearned, the run on Kudlanga's record would be earned. He walked the only guy he faced. That guy came around to score. Not holding the runner on with a big lead as Hatteberg skies it to left. Merton is now in. And Matt with a catch right on the bullpen mound.
Well, you know, Len, it's funny how the game turns around. Last year, Matt Merton was a guy that was usually taken down for a defensive replacement late in the ball game. This year he comes in and makes a nice running catch right on those bullpen mounds down the left field line.
And Frio with a base hit to right. The Reds have 2 on with 1 out. Well, as we learned yesterday, it's never over. It's a lot later. It was in the 5th inning yesterday, and things fell apart on Carlos Zambrano. And the Cubs lead today by 7. Howery against Phillips. The pitch. Ball 1. Brandon Phillips was acquired by the Reds from the Indians in April of last year. It was a pretty good pickup.
I think that was a perfect example of the old cliche about a change of scenery. Brandon Phillips was just kind of spinning his wheels in Cleveland, hadn't achieved the kind of success that they thought he should with his potential, and came over here to Cincinnati and is just now starting to see what kind of player he can really be.
Good hack, fouled it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. At the time he was acquired, the Reds had a lot of depth at second base. They had Ryan Friel, who was playing second at the time, Tony Womack, Rich Aurelia, But Wayne Krivsky, their general manager, simply liked Phillips and said, I'm going to go get him. Very shortly after he was acquired, he was the National League Player of the Week. Had 17 RBIs from April 17th to the 23rd. Most by a National League Player of the Week since Sammy Sosa had 19 during a week in August of '02 for the Cubs. Good pick by Barrett.
Now, Wayne Krivsky wasn't shy about pulling the trigger on trades, that's for sure. He took over the Reds general manager post in February of '06, acquired 36 players from February through the end of the season last year.
We get inserts for the media guide for guys who are acquired or signed after the media guide is put out, and it was about 44 pages.
The addendum was almost as big as the regular media guide.
Howery set. Quick look back at second. Here he comes to the plate, and it's too high for ball 3. 3-2.
Well, most general managers will tell you, obviously the big trades and the big free agent signings get a lot of publicity, and rightfully so. But most general managers, if you can improve any part of your ball club, whether it be your middle relief, your bench strength, your backup catcher, if you can make a deal that improves your ball club, you go ahead and pull the trigger on that deal. Incremental increases in player talent, and ultimately you'll have a good team on the field as Bob Howery blows a heater right by Brandon Phillips.
So 2 outs, and it's Adam Dunn. Well, you hear in the draft, in all the sports, we're going to take the best player available regardless of position. It's probably the best way to go in general. And in baseball, you know, when it comes to need, you can't predict in 5 years what are we going to need. Do we need a shortstop in 5 years? Who knows?
You're going to need pitching.
Yeah, you do know you'll need pitching. Everybody needs pitching. Ryan Dempster getting up. Not a safe spot, probably, in the 9th, but he needs some work. Swing and a miss. Howery features a 4-seam fastball, a sinker, a slider, and a splitter. Playing with his 4th major league club. Began his career on the south side. Fisted foul. He was drafted originally by the Giants, but his big league debut came with the White Sox. Has a sign from Barrett. And he deals low and inside.
You may have noticed after Michael Barrett gave the sign to Bob Howery, he kind of tapped the back of his catcher's mitt on the ground. He wanted that slider down and in. Didn't want Bob Howery to leave it over the plate where Adam Dunn could do some damage. Howery hit his spot through that slider on the inside corner, breaking down and in out of the zone.
The 2-2 pitch, caught and looking. Second time Dunn has been called out on strikes, and it's still 7-0 Cubs.
Holy.
Two sourdough melts for $4. Incredible.
When you're thinking Arby's, you can't think about anything else. Like 2 Arby's sourdough melts for only $4. Choose from roast beef with melted cheddar or roast ham and melted Swiss. Both on thick cut sourdough bread. Get any 2 for just $4. They'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
We should have gone to Shop NBC.
Whether it's cosmetics or fitness, jewelry or skincare, fashion, electronics, computers, and more, Shop NBC is the place to look good and feel great. Shop 24 hours a day on TV and online.
Now this is shopping.
Shop NBC. Be good to yourself.
It isn't easy being a close family when you're spread across the country and into Canada. But with MediaCom, it's never a problem. We call as often as we want for just $29.95 a month.
And we get all sorts of extra features too, like caller ID and call waiting.
Put MediaCom to work for you. Discover the advantages of MediaCom phone today. Unlimited calling in the U.S. and Canada and plenty of other features for just $29.95 a month.
Call 1-800-CABLE TV.
Sports Rise every morning on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Time now for a Cadillac Sports Update.
Mark Shanowski here in our Comcast Sportsnet studio. An announcement is expected right around 3 o'clock on whether Chicago or Los Angeles will be the U.S. nominee to host the 2016 Summer Olympic Games. Meanwhile, back to baseball. Last night, Barry Bonds hit a pair of homers in the Giants' win at Pittsburgh. Of course, Bonds used to play for the Pirates. He now has 737 homers in his career, just 18 behind Hank Aaron's all-time record. We'll have all the day's sports news coming up on Sports Night at 6:30, but now back to Len and Bob.
Mark, thank you. Right-hander Kirk Saarloos will work the bottom of the 8th. And Ronnie Cedeno with a sac fly, sac bunt, 0 for 1 officially, will lead it off. Seventh appearance for Saarloos. 2 A's, 2 O's, 2 S's. And again, it looks like we'll see Dempster in the 9th for the Cubs. Check swing foul.
Now Ryan needs an inning of work with the snowed out ball game on Wednesday, the scheduled off day on Thursday. Did not pitch in the game yesterday. You don't want to let him sit down there and get too rusty. He's really been throwing the ball well in the early going this season.
Pulled foul. I have a release from High Tops. High Tops Alderman Tom Tunney from the 44th Ward and the Cubs are raising money for the 4-year-old son of a Wrigleyville fire victim, Blake Carlson. And there's a drive to right. Ken Griffey chugging over, and he makes a catch just before he runs into the padding. The devastating fire in Wrigleyville in March killed 4 people. That left 4-year-old Blake Carlson motherless, and in an effort to provide support for Blake, as we mentioned, High Tops, Alderman Tunney, and the Cubs are hosting a fundraiser to benefit the Blake Carlson Memorial Trust Fund. It's this coming Thursday, April 19th from 6 to 9 p.m. And you can call 773-348-0009 for more information or to buy tickets. So we hope you can come out as his tourists. It's a rainbow into center for Ryan Friel. Again, 773-348-0009 is the number. Speaking of High Tops, recently purchased by the Harry Carey's Restaurant Group. High Tops is at 3551 North Sheffield. Blown outside on Matt Merton.
That's just an infield ground ball away from the Harry Carey statue out on the corner. Ground ball to short, surrounded by Juan Castro.
As Sarlos goes 1-2-3 in the 8th. Comfortable lead for the Cubs. Ryan Dempster will try to close out the Reds.
Welcome to California.
We cruise.
We fly.
We run.
We go with the flow.
We let go.
And we believe one simple thing.
That every day in California is your lucky day.
Is your lucky day. So there's just one thing you have to ask yourself.
How fast can you get here?
Find yourself in California. Southwest Airlines is taking low fares farther with more than 90 daily flights from Chicago Midway to these cities.
You are now free to move about the country.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac. Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Is it possible to engineer desire? The ES from Lexus. At your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer.
Let's check in on the Nissan drive of the game. Some nice insurance for Derek Lee. Cleared the bases. A 3-run double in the 5-run 7th. Cubs took advantage of an error in the inning. Sent 10 to the plate. And lead by a touchdown. With the football theme, Bernard Berrien throwing out the first pitch and doing the stretch. Ryan Dempster tries to get the final 3 outs.
Dempster pitching in his 4th ball game. Has a couple of saves on the season. Has yet to give up a base hit. 5 strikeouts. Really has had all of his stuff working, especially that fastball. He thought that maybe there were times last season he got away from his fastball a little bit too much. That has not been the case through the early going this year.
Not a safe spot, but would love to preserve the shutout for Rich Hill and company. Ground ball to second. Scooting over is Cedeno. Throws out Conine. Rich Hill through 2 starts with a 0.64 earned run average. 14 innings, just 4 hits. He's walked 4 and struck out 10. Check that, he struck out 11 in his first 2 starts. Gave up just 1 hit in his first start. He went 7, allowed 3 today. One ball, 1 strike on Griffey. Hit hard up the middle. For a 1-out single. All the hits for the Reds have been singles, no extra base hits. Want to wish Christine Cannon a happy birthday today. Also happy birthday to Chuck Calley from your daughter Lisa, who sent a note to the booth. Richard Contreras in Marion, Indiana, is here at the ball game enjoying his birthday. Swinging a bouncer foul over the Cubs dugout. Also happy birthday to Jenny Lund here today with her family. Her oldest son just graduated from Great Lakes Navy Training Station. She's from Reno, Nevada. Swing and a miss. 2 away in the 9th. The producer of Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is Bob Albrecht. Our director Dave Turner. Mark Brady, our associate producer today, our stage manager in the booth. Christine Charbonneau. Scott Sickler is our technical director, the executive producer of Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, Jim Corno Jr. Great work by our entire crew as always. Runner takes second. So Griffey is there, probably defensive indifference.
I know I'm very indifferent about it.
Okay. One more happy birthday wish to Andrea Burke, Cubs marketing staff. Everybody's birthday today.
Happy birthday.
And they're on their feet, 38,598. The 0-2 struck him out. Castro down on strikes. And finally, the Cubs get their first home win under new manager Lou Piniella. It's a shutout as well. And what a day for Rich Hill. Didn't have the great command that we saw in his first start, but he was really, really good once again. And the Cubs blanked the Reds 7-0.
And I think that's a good sign, Len. Any pitcher can go out there on a given day when he's got A stuff and really deal on an opposing team. But Rich didn't have his best stuff today, but he still found a way to keep his team in the ball game until they could get the bats going and win a big ball game today.
So the Cubs improved to 4-6, while the Reds dropped to 6-5. So the Cubs picked up a game on the division leaders. Never too early to take a gander at the standings in the National League Central.
What's the magic number?
148. Cubs are a game and a half out behind the Reds. We're going to go down to the field, and one of the offensive heroes standing by with Gail Fisher.
All right, Len, thank you very much. Derek, monkey off your back. How does it feel to get that first home win of the season?
It feels better than you know. We've struggled here the first few games at home, but hopefully this gets us going.
For you, a nice offensive day. You're on a 10-game hit streak, so the cold not affecting you too much. You're hitting the ball well.
Yeah, but I'll be happy when it warms up.
Talk a little bit about Rich Hill's performance. He obviously did well. His first outing in Milwaukee, came out and pitched another great game.
Yeah, he pitched great. He's throwing strikes, and with this stuff, when he does that, he's going to be tough to hit. So on a day like today, when he's throwing the ball like that, it's going to be tough to score runs against him.
How much more satisfying, given the fact that you guys took the L yesterday and the manner in which you lost that ball game, this one has got to feel so much better.
Yeah, those are games you can't lose, you know, but we shook it off, we bounced back, and we got a win. Now we have a chance to win the series.
And now coming into the game tomorrow, you are going to wear the 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson. What does that mean for you?
It means everything, you know. He's one of my heroes. I wouldn't be where I am today without him, so it'll be an honor to wear his number tomorrow.
All right, Derek, thank you very much. Congratulations. Len, let's send it back upstairs to you.
All right, Gail, thank you. And Bob, the Cubs could not beat Bronson Arroyo last year, but they've already beaten him twice this year.
Well, you know, familiarity. They've seen enough of him now. They've got a better idea of how to approach him. And quite honestly, he made some mistakes today, and the Cubs made him pay.
All right, nice job, partner, as always. We'll see you tomorrow, and that'll do it for our game coverage. Stay tuned for Cubs post-game live right around the corner. The final score as the Cubs get their first shutout win of the year. The Cubs 7, the Reds nothing. Our next Cubs telecast here on Comcast Sportsnet. Monday night, the first home game at night under the lights of the friendly confines. Cubs and the Padres at 7 o'clock. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. For Bob Brenly and our entire crew, Len Casper saying so long from the ballpark. Again, Cubs post-game live coming up next. You've been watching Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.
All right, Len Casper, thanks a lot. Mark Shanowski here in the Comcast Sportsnet studio. Cubs post-game live straight ahead. Dan Plesac is here to help us break down this afternoon's action. Of course, we'll have Lou Piniella's press conference. You don't want to miss that. And we're still waiting for the big decision from the U.S. Olympic Committee on whether Chicago or Los Angeles will be their nominee to host the 2016 Summer Games. We'll have that announcement for you on Sportsnet at 6:30. But stay tuned. Cubs post-game live is next after a short timeout.
Have you noticed how many car ads want you to hurry in? Hurry in, don't wait. They want you to hurry because they don't want you finding out what the best car really is. this is the Toyota Camry, the 2007 Motor Trend Car of the Year. So, you know, it's the best car.
And now, lease the famously popular Toyota Camry for just $229 a month. Toyota, a great way to keep moving forward.
Wake up to rivalry and wake up to McDonald's. Get any two McGriddle sandwiches for just $3.
If ever you're not satisfied with one of our tires, please feel free to bring it back. Thank you. Discount Tire Company.
Low prices, more choices on the world's best brands, like Michelin and B.F. Goodrich.
Meet Michael Johnson, the world's fastest man. Michael holds the world 200 and 400-meter records. When he turns off the lights at night, he's in bed before the room gets dark.
Still got it. Brian, what's up?
Hey, Michael, how are you? Moving this quick can make you hot in a hurry. So what does the world's fastest man call for?
Coors Light.
Frost Brewed Coors Light. The world's most refreshing beer.
These are from Michael.
Ladies.
Hi, Michael.
The 2007 Chevy Impala has something Toyota and Honda don't. The GM 100,000-mile warranty. And OnStar, with help at the push of a button. And diagnostic checks emailed to you every month. Impala has you covered for the road ahead.
Qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on an 07 Chevy Impala 1LT for around $199 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for details. Qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on an 07 Impala 1LT for around $199 a month.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by LoJack, the only stolen vehicle recovery system operated by the police. Bacardi Rum, if you're going to drink, be responsible. And by Pontiac, 9 performance machines, all designed for action.
Torres got it down. Floyd scores, and Cesar thrown out. He threw his whole body into that suicide squeeze bunt, and it's 2-0.
Just what the doctor ordered for Lou Piniella and the Cubs this afternoon. They take advantage of every mistake by the visiting Reds and get a very strong pitching performance from Rich Hill to even the series at a game apiece, 7-0. The final score from Wrigley Field. Hello again, everyone. Welcome into Cubs Postgame Live. Alongside our expert analyst, the All-Star closer Dan Plesac, I'm Mark Shanowski. Cubs certainly counting on Rich Hill to get him out of that mini funk they were in, and he delivered the goods.
He delivered the goods, and one of the really positive signs about this, Rich Hill didn't have his A game with him, but he's becoming and blossoming as a pitcher. He had a little difficulty in the second inning, had a hard time, difficult time throwing strikes, had a little conference. Larry Rothschild came out with a 2-0 count. It really just broke his rhythm, got him back in rhythm, slowed him down a little bit. And I'll tell you what was really good is he pitched very well the last 2 innings. In the 6th and 7th inning, found the strike zone again. And I mean, this is a learning experience for Rich. You know, the back month and a half of the season last year, he's carried that over to a very good spring training. And so far, it looks like he's carried it over. I think this guy has really turned the corner, and he's on the verge of really becoming one of the top left-handed pitchers in this league.
And it was nice to see Bob Howery and Ryan Dempster come on and finish off the shutout at Wrigley Field. Time to check out our Feldco pitching recap. We just talked about Hill. You know, he pitched 7 innings of one-hit ball in his last outing, but then because of the snow out, he had to wait 8 days for his next chance. A little bit shaky in the early going, threw a lot of pitches in the second, as Dan mentioned, but once he settled down, great numbers, 7 innings, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, and it's amazing what confidence can do for a young pitcher.
Well, it's confidence, and particularly, you're going to need a good left-handed starting pitcher, and the Cubs right now are blessed with 2, and Rich Hill and Ted Lilly, because playing a lot of the teams in the Central Division, you're able to neutralize Adam Dunn, Ken Griffey Jr., you're able to neutralize a guy like Jim Edmonds on the St. Louis Cardinals, so it definitely is a plus to have 2 good left-handers.
We'll talk more about Rich Hill in a moment. We're going to head out to Wrigley Field and bring you Lou Piniella's news conference, brought to us by United.
In this type of weather with a lead, not a bad idea. Moving runners, getting them in scoring position, putting a little more pressure on the other pitcher.
And they got the job done for you in that inning where Cedeno was up to bat. And it looked like
Yeah, well, Cedeno drove that ball to left field. Got a run in, and Floyd, really good base running, coming over to third. Just good, aggressive base running by Cliff. And then they walked our pinch hitter Ward, and Soriano beats a ball out in the hole, and we go on and have a big inning. And Lee with the big hit, obviously, with the bases loaded. But Hill today really pitched well. Well, he hadn't been out there in 9 days. He gave us 7 outstanding innings.
A lot of people think Hill can win 17 or 18 games this year. Does he look like he has that kind of stuff to you right now?
I like Rich Hill. I thought he pitched very well for us after watching him in spring before the exhibition game started. You know, he's serious about his business, and he goes out after you and throws strikes, changes speeds. Yeah, Rich can win a lot of ball games for us this year.
Lou, I know you said the focus is on the players as well. It should be. Does it mean, though, anything to you personally to get your first win as hometown manager in this ballpark?
Oh, yeah, it really does. Actually, Mike Barrett asked me if I wanted a baseball. It was a great gesture on his part, and I said no. But yeah, it feels good to win a ball game here and build on it. But I tell you what, it's really a fun park to play in and manage in because of all the elements, and it's almost like playing the British Open.
Why did you say no? Why didn't you want the ball?
Huh?
Why didn't you want the ball?
Well, I mean, it's one win. I can grab a ball out of the basket and say.
Lou, just take us through your thinking on that suicide squeeze in the fifth. There was a
Well, you know, you give the tourists the credit. I mean, the easiest thing to do is for a manager to put on a squeeze. The hardest thing to do is for the hitter to execute it. And he did a great job. I mean, the ball was out away from him, and he fully extended and dropped down a perfect bunt. I don't like the squeeze much. I really don't. It's just that, you know, it was tough to score runs out there for a while.
I mean, he hasn't been off to the greatest start, but do you be surprised if they walked to get to Soriano? And then how important was it that he came through in that, even though it was...
Well, Arroyo had had pretty good success against Soriano coming in. The time before, he had a good at-bat off him with a base hit to left field. But, you know, I just look at things that I do. The other team, they know their personnel really well, so I stay away from that. But I would assume that it's because Arroyo's prior success against Soriano.
Were you impressed with the way Hill walked some guys but got himself out of potential?
You know, how many did he walk today? 2?
3, 4.
4? I didn't even know. Yeah, you know, and what I was impressed about, too, is that they tried to steal on him, and they did once, and we went to the slide step, and he executed it perfectly, which is, that's a complete picture for you. I mean, I don't think he walked 4 all spring, did he?
0 until today.
How about that? But, you know, that was what the concern coming into the ballgame today, that he felt a little strong and tried to overthrow a little bit because he hadn't pitched in 9 days. But, boy, I tell you what, he's a good-looking young pitcher, I can tell you that.
You got a power team, but when the weather warms up, will there be logical places where you can still use that small ball type of thing?
Well, this is what I've been trying to see if we get some versatility as far as your bench looking a little different from your starters, so that you can play a little different ball game when you need to rest your team on a hot summer day. And let me tell you, if you can play that type of game from time to time, it puts a lot of pressure on the opposing team. it's a good way to add on runs if you're executing well and hitting with men on scoring position like we did today.
Is that what you were talking about, doing things like this today? Is that what you were talking about yesterday when you said you're seeing how the team has lost games?
No,
not
that's
making things happen? Or?
well, no, that's not what I was talking about. No, not this. No.
Is it possible that the nature and tone of your remarks yesterday had anything to do about the outcome thing?
Well, you know what had to do with the outcome of today's game? And we got a really good pitch ball game, and we made some nice plays defensively, and we executed offensively, and we were able to put the game away there in the 8th inning when we had to. That's what won.
This was your most complete game of the year.
It was a really good game. I mean, you know, defensively we made some nice plays. We turned a double play or two, and Hill did a nice job of pitching, and Asteris, I mean, really nice effort with that bunt, and Floyd with his hustling play. I mean, it's just a little combination of things, but that's how you have to play if you want to win with any consistency.
All right, we'll
Thanks.
be back with Rich Hill.
That's manager Lou Piniella following his first victory at home as Cubs manager, 7-0 over the Cincinnati Reds. We had the happy Lou early on, a couple of good one-liners, and then the dreaded media had to pull him down when talking about yesterday's tirade.
Well, I mean, that's what's going to happen. It's part of the profession. I think one of the things that managers, especially nowadays with all the media coverage, you have to really make yourself accessible. And some, you know, Lou doesn't, there are going to be days where he's going to be a little bit angry. There's going to be days that I'm sure he's going to be chipper, and there are going to be days where he probably is not going to say a whole lot. But one of the things, this was a very important win coming off that tough loss yesterday, and I think it was really important. There was a lot of pressure on Rich Hill really facing Bronson Arroyo, who has given the Cubs fits the last 4 or 5 times that they faced Bronson Arroyo. They really needed somebody to step up, and Rich Hill certainly was up to it this afternoon.
But make no mistake about it, the players got the message. We heard Derek Lee right after the game with Gale saying, you don't know how big this win was. They want to make their manager any more upset. We're just getting started here on Cubs Postgame Live. As we go to break, let's check out our Pontiac opinion poll, and it has to do with Lou Piniella's outburst yesterday. We were wondering, what is Lou Piniella's biggest problem right now as you see it? A, injuries to Aramis Ramirez, Mark Pryor, and Kerry Wood. B, Alfonso Soriano's slow start. C, the lack of clutch hitting, leaving too many runners on in scoring position. D, an inconsistent bullpen. Or E, the dreaded media provoking him as they did yesterday. Go to ComcastSportsNet.com, click on Chicago, and select the Cubs page and make your choice. We'll have the results a little bit later on Cubs Postgame Live.
Where you go in life is up to you. There's one airline that can take you there. United. It's time to fly.
It's a driver's car. Rich in the latest technology, the perfectly proportioned cabin offers abundant comfort and space. Super handling all-wheel drive gives you ownership of the road. And the ever-smooth turbocharged iVTEC engine, it's a rush. The RDX from Acura. Are you ready?
Take advantage of attractive financing on select Acura models for well-qualified customers.
On an all-new Net Impact, a delegation from the majors takes an unforgettable journey to Africa's slave castle.
Everybody here, to a man, to a woman, will tell you that they've been moved and probably in a way that they never have been before.
Plus, head home with slugger Jim Tomei.
This is the heartland. This is where your good roots, your good values come from.
And get to know reigning NL MVP Ryan Howard. Don't miss Net Impact. Tuesday night at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
It's where stars are born and legends play. Where the unforgettable happens and history is made. In the city where sports reign supreme, there is only one network capable of capturing it all. Comcast Sportsnet. Every season, every moment, every day, every night. Be here for what happens next.
Chicago Tribune Live, weeknights at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
We're going to take you back to Wrigley Field and winning pitcher Rich Hill.
It's always the advantage of the pitcher in cold weather to pitch, but you just do it. You just go out there and that's it. I mean, there's no excuses for the weather. Or, you just think of it as this is the best possible situation today. Whether it's snowing, raining, whatever it is, this is the best weather that we can have to win a baseball game. I was thinking about it. Yeah, I said, damn, that would have been nice. No, I mean, no, because it's happened before, so you just, all right. But today, I mean, it was a game that up until we had that big inning was a grind. We grinded out those 2 runs, and if that's all we were going to get, it was a great team win. It was really impressive.
That suicide squeeze, fans go crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were very excited. I mean, that's just a play that you don't see a lot, and when it happens, it gets everybody fired up.
Saw early ball blew in here yesterday at the game. How is it to be the pitcher that has to go out next day and know that it might be me if I don't hit my spot?
No, I mean, you don't think that. That's negative, I mean, you just stay positive and you go out there and you pitch your game. I mean, if you go out there, you walk a couple guys, you give up some runs, and you don't pitch well, that happens. Let's say it was today. Maybe if it goes the other way, that's just baseball, it goes, you just need to keep your mind level. You can't have too many ups and downs. But coming out there today is to go out there and pitch to my philosophy. Aggressive, pitch in, stay on the attack, and you come out on the other end.
Is each game since the middle of last season still a confidence builder for you, or are you at where you want to be as far as knowing you belong here?
No, you always, I mean, knowing that you belong here is the thing that you have to have. If I think, if your confidence does waver, you got to be able to make sure that you recognize it and be able to pull yourself down from that low wave, I guess you want to call it, as opposed to being on top the whole time. What can you do when you going, when you're coming this way? Okay, things aren't going that well. Step off, recognize it, and get back into that one pitch at a time mindset on the focus.
Well, Rich Hill, an easy choice as our player of the game. He's 2-0 right now with a .64 earned run average. That's kind of like what Dan had during his All-Star years in Milwaukee, right?
I'm going to tell you what, very impressive listening to him talk, because I think one of the things that pitchers fight, and I know I fought this for 18 seasons, it's believing in yourself, slowing yourself down, pitch by pitch, 1 out at a time. And I think it keeps you from getting in prolonged slumps, and then it also keeps you, if you can keep narrow focused on a short-term goal, which is the next pitch, it's very hard to do. Sometimes the wheels are coming off, you're pitching on the road, you're pitching in an environment that's hostile, your heart rate starts to get up and you want to try to make something happen. I think when you see the good pitchers, you watch Greg Maddux pitch, you turn on a game in the 6th or 7th inning, you don't know if he's winning 1-0 or winning 10-0. They just have a calmness about him, and Rich Hill's starting to get that.
Boy, he sure is. Let's go to the 7th inning when the Cubs broke the game open. They got an extra out because of an error by the first baseman, Jeff Conine. And then an interesting decision by Jerry Narron. He walks the pinch hitter, Darrell Ward, to get to Alfonso Soriano.
Well, I think you're seeing that now early on in the season because Alfonso's having a difficult time coming in, batting right around 200 coming into this game. This may not be the case in about another week to 10 days. All it's going to take for Alfonso is to have a couple of games back-to-back. And I can guarantee you this, you will not see very often the remaining part of the year somebody intentionally walked in front of Alfonso Soriano. I mean, it's just right now, you know, they're trying to attack a guy in the matchup, and I think Lou touched on it very well. You know, he had some at-bats off Arroyo where he didn't look very comfortable, and as a manager, a Cincinnati manager, you're not trying to embarrass the Cubs. You're just trying to say to put your pitcher in the best matchup right there. You know, a free swinger, a guy that has been chasing breaking balls off the plate. Why not keep going to that?
Well, then Ryan Terrio followed with a base hit to make it 4-0, and then Derek Lee breaks it wide open with the bases clearing double.
This guy really, he's really the backbone of this ball club, and I think if you look back at 2005, was really his bust-out year as far as being one of the elite players in baseball. And he drives. This is signature Derek Lee right here. He's hitting the ball better, pulling the ball on the inside half of the plate, but his bread and butter is the ball out over the plate. You see, he's just so strong that he can get the barrel of bat to that ball, and the wind was blowing in from right field, and for that ball to cut through that wind to get away from Ryan Friel, he hit that ball very well and very hard on the line.
Well, after a final break, we'll take a look ahead to the series finale tomorrow afternoon at Wrigley Field. Another lefty, Ted Lilly, facing the former Cub farmhand Kyle Loesch. Here's a look at how some of your favorite Cub hitters did today against Bronson Arroyo in the Reds bullpen. We'll be right back with more Cubs postgame live.
No regrets.
No regrets. It's been good to me. Take care of it, it'll be good to you.
Yeah, I hear you, Dad.
Like we said, that was yours.
From generation to generation, nothing runs like a deer.
Your age doesn't matter.
Your race doesn't matter.
Man or woman.
Tall
or small.
Doesn't matter.
One organ donor can save up to 25 lives.
Boys can save girls.
Cubs fans
can even save Sox fans.
And Card fans.
Doesn't matter who you are.
What matters is...
What matters is...
will you help?
Will you help?
Will you help?
Will you help?
When it comes to planning for the future, trust Country Insurance and Financial Services to keep you moving in the right direction. With down-to-earth, straightforward advice, Country Insurance and Financial Services is always there to keep you on the right path. Country, real answers for real financial security. For your family, for you, for a lifetime.
This is our country.
When you look at this club at the beginning of the season, its attitude, its form.
Scoring! There is the second goal by Chicago. Try shot and a goal!
Right down the middle after picking the pocket of Amado Guevara and scoring!
The pressure will mount.
Yeah! Listen to this crowd now!
The intensity will rise because the playoffs are coming.
Oh, wow! Yeah!
Every second counts. Every shot matters as the Bulls' quest for a championship tips off.
It's getting hyped in here now, baby.
It all begins next weekend on the exclusive local home of the Bulls playoffs, Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Welcome back to the show. Here's a look at the StubHub upcoming schedule. It's a 1:20 start tomorrow for the series finale between the Cubs and Reds. Then the Padres come in for 2 games. You can see Monday night's night game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. And it's a quick 2-game road trip to Atlanta on Wednesday and Thursday. And we have the results of today's Pontiac opinion poll. We asked you, what is Lou Piniella's biggest problem right now? The results? 32.9% say lack of clutch hitting, 31.7% going with the inconsistent bullpen, and only 6% say the injuries. You know what, Dan, after a couple of years of injury problems, people don't want to hear that anymore.
No, they don't. They don't want to hear that. Really, a couple of games that the Cubs should have won and did not win. You know, it's a lack of the bullpen pulling through. But I still think that this bullpen is going to be a strength of the team. Bobby Howry threw the ball much better today, and I think in the end, and one of the positive signs, Michael Wirtz was really good yesterday, and Ryan Dempster looks like he's throwing the ball like he did at the end of the 2005 season, throwing a lot of strikes, and his breaking pitch and his split finger looks really good.
Yeah, and Scott Ayers struck out the side in the ninth yesterday. We're going to check out the pitching matchup for tomorrow's series finale. Another lefty, Ted Lilly, going up against journeyman Kyle Loesch. He pitched a number of years with the Twins, as you probably recall, and Ted Lilly's looked very good so far, Dan.
He's looked very good. Somewhat similar, but in some ways different than Rich Hill. You know, a good four-seam fastball, elevates his fastball up in the strike zone. Has pitched in very well his first two starts. Was able to pound the ball on the inside half of the plate. Here you see a little cut fastball, a little slider down and in, and then when he can get ahead to use that big 12-6 curveball. He's pitched very well in two starts. And, you know, he even said that he thought his first start at Wrigley Field, he was a little bit too overexcited, a little bit too anxious, but it'll be really good for him to settle down tomorrow, and this team needs a big lift to win 2 in a row.
At about 15 seconds, the key in facing Kyle Loesch tomorrow?
I think he threw very well in Cincinnati last week. I think one of the keys is to be patient, you know, to be ready to hit early on an account and make sure that you hit pitches that you're going up there looking for. Don't chase, you know, breaking balls in 2-0, 2-1 counts. Look for good pitches to hit, and when you get them, come out of your shoes and let it fly.
Hopefully the start of a long winning streak for the Cubs coming up. That's going to do it for today's edition of Cubs Post Game Live. For Dan and the crew, thanks for watching. Much more player reaction coming up on Sports Night at 6:30. Have a great week.
It's a driver's car. Rich in the latest technology, the perfectly proportioned cabin offers abundant comfort and space. Super handling all-wheel drive gives you ownership of the road. And the ever-smooth turbocharged iVTEC engine, it's a rush. The RDX from Acura. Are you ready?
Take advantage of attractive financing on select Acura models for well-qualified customers.
Yeah, you know the spot.
Right away, sir.
Welcome to Giordano's. Your table's ready.
Thank you.
How's everything?
Fantastic.
What's your secret?
It's the fresh ingredients, and it's been so for the last 30 years.
We made it good. You made it famous.
For some people, there's only one airline that fits. United Economy Plus offers more legroom than any other U.S. airline. United, it's time to fly.
Like a lot of people, my days are filled up. Family, work, chores, TV. My prime time is whenever I can make it. With Stars and HBO On Demand, I watch what I want whenever I want, anytime. Mediacom? Works for me.
Upgrade to Digital 2-Star with Stars and HBO with On Demand for only $14.95 a month for 12 months. And catch new episodes of The Sopranos. Just $14.95 a month for 12 months. Call today.
Call 1-800-CABLE-TV.
Mike knows NASCAR. Mike knows golf. Mike knows the NFL. Mike knows college football. Mike knows basketball. Mike knows baseball.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I know cable advertising. Let me help your business score results. Call me at On Media, 797-2907.
One is professional basketball's reigning back-to-back MVP. One led his team to the NCAA National Championship and captained Team USA. One was NCAA Coach of the Year. And one is simply the winningest coach in the history of the NCAA. Four legends with one thing in common. Perfect Jumper. Made of durable rubber, Perfect Jumper lasts a lifetime. It's easy to install, just align, snap, and shoot. For beginners, improve your trajectory with PP1, just $29.99. Develop muscle memory with PP2, just $39.99. Perfect your baseline shot from the post to three-point land with the Baseline Bomber, only $59.99. And take care of business from the charity stripe. Order the free Throat King, just $69.99. Order each piece separately from just $29.99. Or save $50 now when you order the system Mellow won't practice without.
Use a perfect jumper. You will improve.
Order today. Call 877-PJ-SWISH.
Monday on Chicago Tribune Live, we'll break down the Cubs and Sox weekend matchup with division foes, and we'll tell you why the Bulls will make an impact in the playoffs this year. All that and more comes your way Monday at 5:30.
We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.